You got to have a concept. You have a great concept. You guys are doing it, man. And it's
a game with my teammates, and for us to bring, our gold medals to there and share it with everyone in this area was really, really special for me. And just the support and it's been tremendous from everyone in this area, and you can feel that there at that game.
Welcome to
You got to have a concept. You have a great concept. You guys are doing it, man. And it's an honor for me to just be, a small rock, man, in your mountain. I'm going to pop a top in your honor.
Mr. Doc Walker blessed us with his presence and knowledge.
We want to welcome in our next special guest, Haley Skarupa. She's a three-time world champion in women's ice hockey and most recently won Olympic gold with Team USA.
The Cap Stadium Series is definitely my favorite, obviously. I'm a huge Caps fan, I always have been, and to be there at that game with my teammates and for us to bring, our gold medals to there and share it with everyone in this area was really, really special for me. And just the support and it's been tremendous from everyone in this area, and you can feel that there at that game.
Welcome to Sports on the Hill podcast. Hashtag DC Sports Without the Politics with Carol and Robbie on True Radio Network.
And welcome to episode 393 of Sports on the Hill podcast. I'm joined with a bunch of friends. We've got had some technical glitches in the background, but I think that we are live and it's working now. Lots of exciting stuff happening on this episode 393. We've got a live Wizards game where they were getting blown out at one point, but it's a close game with Milwaukee right now, it is a 3-point game, and we've got the live WWE match with Raw, and also a live football game. And Gil just mentioned that the Giants just failed at a field goal attempt. And welcome on into the Sith Lord. Dan will be joining us in hour 2 as well. So we've got Champ live on Twitch as well. So they will be joining us in hour 2. So again, we're going to talk a little bit about the perfect week for the Capitals, where they went 4-0. And last week we discussed the first game of that 4-0, so we won't go too far into that one, but we'll talk about the 3 others. If people want to see our live reaction to that one, they can always check out 392. Today, I believe we're just streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. No kick tonight. It's been having some glitches lately, so I'm taking a break from that. But yeah, so again, you can always find the live streams live or after the fact on YouTube. And then on Twitch and Facebook, they last for a couple of months, but sort of the repository forever is now going to exist on YouTube, youtube.com/RobbieGross. That's my name. But Twitch is definitely the place to check it out. Thank you, Champ. I was on a 3-stream watch streak, so I appreciate that. And we'll have a lot of wrestling to talk in hour 2. The Commanders almost won the game last night on Sunday Night Football. It was a really close, exciting game. but I think there was a lot of positive to be had from that as well. So we're joined in by Anna, Gil, and C4. I'm going to introduce them a little bit more right now. Anna, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. It's December. I can't believe it. And happy with this 4-game winning streak that our boys have.
Yeah, it's very impressive last week for the Capitals, and their play over the last few weeks has improved greatly. I think because of your favorite player, Anna Knox, Tom Wilson, really
Yes.
trying to make Team Canada and making it hard for them to say no. And we just breaking news came in from the NHL. He's the third star of last week with 8 points, 4 goals, and 4 assists. I don't think he had any fights, Gil. Right? Is that correct? No fights.
Nothing like that. Not since the one I recorded.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, you've got the last one on
little
record.
heated with the refs in yesterday's game, but it's okay. No fights, and yeah, God, Cheryl's video was amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was.
I got lucky. I really did. I just got lucky with it.
Yeah, no, that was a great shot. So that if you missed that, it's on our Sports on the Hill podcast page. It's a reel, so it's on our reels from last week. We posted that as well. So thank you for that shot, C4. Gil, let people know what happened on this week's Power Play Point podcast.
Yeah, well, when you have a perfect week, you gotta still. If you're being realistic, you got to still find things to nitpick. And, some of you out there might not like this, but that's pretty much what Anna and I did or tried to do this episode. There were some things that we saw that we didn't quite like. I mean, yeah, they were wins, but in our own inimitable way, we break down each game and how they happened. And, I just kind of hope, even though they won, that some of the habits that we saw don't crop up too much more as the season goes. And that's kind of what our focus was this week.
Yeah, so definitely go back and check that out as well.
And I'm still maintaining my not laughing at anything Gil says at the end.
Of course.
Yeah, that one. I was I was listening to it at the grocery store, and I just kind of stood there, and I think I was staring at the Little Debbie cakes, and I was just like,
thank you. See?
Oh, for those who haven't listened yet, I was channeling my inner Liam Neeson, and I'll leave it at that.
There you go. I'll have to check it out. Today, my son didn't have school, so I was watching him. So I didn't get. I usually listen to it as a midday thing, but I was at I was at Hyper Kids for 4 hours with little kids. So that was no podcast for me today. But I'll definitely be checking that out tomorrow. You can always check out any of the podcasts at SportsOTHP.com. Click the podcast partner button, and you can always find out more on that over there. So let me bring up our video player here, and we will take a look at some of the goals and the games from this past week. Again, we're not going to go into the one from last Monday. You can go and check that out on the last episode of Sports on the Hill podcast. It was. I don't want to press this button. Making it worse, not better. All right. Well, everything is messing up for me today. It's par for the course. All right. I think. Oh nope. I gotta make it a lot smaller.
It's probably after
I'd say
having.
It looks good here.
Yeah, it looks good there, but it's going to cut off on my screen.
Well, I think what he was trying to do is make sure he could get to the video controls.
Yeah, that's true too. But then also, it's also cutting it off a little bit on here. But I'm going to just do a slight little adjustment on the fly. But Gil, while I do that, why don't you break down the first goal? Why is it not staying here? Just making sure that it's looping correctly. Okay, now we go in. All right, let's break down the first goal for John Carlson.
All right, so Caps take a 1-0 lead here. They have them pinned in their zone. Carlson's on the forecheck here, forces a turnover. Looks like, yes, that's of course, Tom Wilson going the other way with it and finds Carlson in the high slot, who slams it home for the 1-0 lead. And again, We're looking like geniuses here because what did we say not just a few weeks ago? Carlson should shoot more. And what is he doing?
Shooting more.
And scoring.
Yes.
Yeah. Good for him.
So
about time.
There is that.
Yeah.
He's been a little slow on the uptick this year from that, but hopefully he's finding his stride now.
Yes.
Yeah. He's been playing. I love it. Whenever the haters come out against John Carlson or Ovechkin, I feel like they pick it up. I don't know. Like, yeah, every time they're like, oh, they're washed up, they're done. I feel like I've seen this the last 3 or 4 seasons a couple of times throughout the season. And they're proving why they still are the highest paid players on our team. You know, there's a reason. And Anna, what are some of your thoughts on this one?
No, I agree with you guys 100%. I've always been a John Carlson fan, so to see him, take a shot like this, and all of us can kind of, proudly say, "Yep, that was John Carlson," and that's exactly what we expect from him. I agree, Cheryl. Though I want to see more. But it's good to see. And I do think we'll see more. I don't know if we'll see it in California, but I think that he's going to start getting his stride and coming back. So all the haters can take a step back.
Yeah.
So I got a scoring update. Columbus Blue Jackets just scored and took the lead over the Devils 3-2 with 12:46 left. So that's an interesting matchup there. It's the East and the Metropolitan are all so close. All the teams are like at 500 or better. Like I think they're the only division like that in the NHL, and so it's been tough. That's why that last one against the Islanders, I know we'll talk about that in a little bit. It was such a huge win because all the teams are just so stacked up in the division. For sure. C4, any final thoughts on this John Carlson goal?
Nope, but on a side note, I just happened to notice the Sabres are up 4-1 over Winnipeg in the second intermission at the end of 2.
What the heck is going on tonight?
Over Winnipeg?
Yes, they're up 4-1.
Holy crap.
And the Pens are up 3-1 over the Flyers in the third.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
I happen to have the scoreboard up on the side.
That wasn't as shocking, but I have to say the other scores are okay. Well, the Sabres like last.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Crazy, isn't it?
So Jacob Chikrin keeps scoring. I can't believe it that we get to talk about it. Yeah, I'm so happy you got to wear it. We're wearing our numbers again. I've got the 43 again.
Anna, you got Tommy. I get Chikrin.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I get it. I said I'm been crushing on him for a while, but no one can take Tommy away. But man, Chikrin is just right there.
I just love that they're going to be the staple of the future. There's actually now talk that Jacob Chikrin has played his way into possible considerations for Team Canada. Right now, the top 6 are really hard to crack.
Isn't Chikrin from Florida?
Yeah.
So that's what I saw the headline, and then we jumped on here, and I was like, wait, I thought he was from Florida. I thought the same thing.
He was born and raised in Florida, but his father's Canadian. He's actually under consideration by both teams is what I heard.
Oh,
Holy
wow.
crap.
Oh, wow. Okay.
U.S. and Canada.
That's incredible.
Oh, man, it's going to be
I hope he's in Team USA. That would be so
do
fun.
I.
Yeah.
But, he's actually making a case to wear the A next year, I think.
Mm-hmm.
If not later this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, it's hard to take it away from John Carlson, though. So I think it's when John Carlson leaves.
Whatever happens to him is going to dictate that.
Yeah,
that's true.
I
mean, he's certainly making a case for it.
Oh, definitely.
He's got C4's boat.
Yeah. So, I think your Sailor Drunk, which is one of my favorite screen names, is saying that he can't fathom what we're talking about, but my guess is hockey. That's true. I mean, there's a lot of hockey imagery on the screen, so that is a good guess.
That's a pretty good guess.
I'm so European. Holy moly! The Wizards just won this game. Am I behind?
What?
Wait.
Now I'm wondering. I thought I was live on this game over here. Now hold on. Did I?
Gotta
a lot
be
of ass backwards, upside down things happening tonight.
Oh my god! I was a minute and a half behind somehow.
Oh.
Well, Champ, thank you for that. What was the final score, Champ? If you could let us know. And I don't know why the scoreboard thing didn't just pop that. Oh, there it is. Oh, I missed it. Washington Wizards defeat Milwaukee Bucks 129-126. We have two wins to talk about tonight. We are going to have Wizards talk tonight.
Can
that
I
is
sneak
exciting.
in? Speaking of the Wizards, can I sneak in a little something here?
Yeah, sure.
The Wizards did just release something, and I know because it was through our podcast sponsor. They're going to host a Kids Day on December the 6th. I forget who they're playing. I think they're playing the Atlanta Hawks that night, if I'm not mistaken. But that event is being sponsored by our podcast sponsor, Empowering Education. And as I understand it, first 10,000 fans in attendance will take home a Wizards-themed charm hat. There's going to be lots of little events, an in-game kids dunk contest, dribble skills.
So cool.
That sounds like so much fun.
Neat games, and it's going to be pretty awesome. I've got a link if anyone's interested in finding out more. But it's sponsored by Empowering Education on Saturday the 6th. It's a 7:00 tip-off, and it is against the Hawks. But lots of great events for the kids. Bring them out to that game. It's going to be lots of fun.
So that's on this upcoming Saturday. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Very cool.
That would be cool. And so I may have to check into getting tickets for that one.
I nominate Zara for the dunking contest.
Yeah.
Exactly. So she had to give me a play-by-play by what's going on in the bedroom right now. The joys of 4-year-olds, right? They don't understand podcasts or timing or any of that. But yeah, no, that's exciting. I'm happy for the Wizards. I'm happy they got a couple of wins, and that's really exciting that they. I just can't believe we get a win that we get to talk about. That's always really exciting for sure. Champ and I will discuss both wins a little bit later on in the show. Let's continue on with Jacob Chychrun, who's scored his 9th goal of the season and continuing his his point streak. At this point, I think that went up to number 9 as well, because I think the next one was 10, and made it 2-0. Gil, take it away from there.
Okay, so Rasmus Sandin and Hendrix Lapierre actually start this play. Frank with the tip in the high slot keeps it going over to Milano, and he gets it over to Chychrun, who also happens to have a great shot here and uses it to perfection all the way, pretty much from the point, all the way from downtown, as they say, into the net. This would not be the last time we would see this, hint. Great shot, great goal by Chychrun here.
They're doing a great job of moving him around. In a future goal, you'll see that he goes on one side and then he loses everybody by appearing on the other side. And, I think it reminds me a lot of a Mike Green, where they used him in a lot of different positions. It's sort of a forward disguised as a defensive player, right? Throw him in these different slots and positions. And
I think this goal is emblematic of probably one of the best characteristics of how he plays. This is the 4th line that he's out with. This is the 4th forward line.
Right.
He scores another goal later on in the week with it's either the 2nd or the 3rd line, and he's also on the power play. You pretty much just said it, Robbie. He's an offensive Swiss Army knife, if there ever was one. He can mesh well with anybody, make things happen on that side of the ice. Doesn't matter who he's with.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm just so happy that we can have another one like a John Carlson. Like, to be able to spread that out over multiple lines now is such a huge advantage and really hard to match up against, when you're talking about the opposing team. It's one thing if you have one of those players. It's another thing if you've got 2 of them out of the 3 defensive pairings. And then the third one can be more of a shutdown one, which is, so it's that's exactly what you want. And I think they do a good job of pairing their offsides with a player that can help, cover defensively and cover up from the positions and know that there's going to be some risk taking. And credit to a lot of the forwards for people cycling back and covering a man and protecting it, because the only way you can cycle a defensive player forward is if a forward is willing to play defense. If you get messed up on that blue line, it's a breakaway going the other way. So it's a huge commitment defensively, all 5 players, and offensively, all 5 players. And you just really see that teamwork and camaraderie. And some of those lines are starting to gel too. It's interesting that sometimes it takes an injury or a couple players leaving the lineup for to mesh. It's a weird situation. You're like, oh, when we had all of our players, why weren't we doing better? And sometimes, the next man up mentality, stepping up, it's a real thing. So
Matt Roy.
Yeah. Huge.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, just for time, we're going to keep on going. I'm going to talk about this Ovechkin goal here, an important goal because they had tied it 2-2, and this, we haven't really talked about it, but this game was to celebrate Ovechkin hitting the 900 milestone, 1,500 games played, and a lot of these games where we celebrate them beforehand are kind of emotional letdown games, and I like it that Ovechkin took it on himself to be like, hey, it's 2-2. I don't want to lose on my big night. Let me just throw something random to the net. And it's just
pretty
this
much
crazy floating goal. And I love that he was mic'd up for it, and he just laughs afterwards. He just almost he just bursts out laughing.
Like he was not expecting that to go in at all.
So a lot of times you could play it off like, oh, I was planning that. But
here's the thing I've seen about Ovi in recent games. First of all, he's getting a little bit less ice time. But secondly, he's a more, for lack of a better way of putting it, maybe complete player. He's not just shooting the puck. He's making plays happen. He's assisting on other plays. He's having more fun. And I think now that the pressure is off, he's starting to really enjoy himself and relax and play hockey again. And that's what I've seen over the last couple of weeks, and his improvement over the last couple of weeks because of that. He's not being pressured to, he had to get, he was chasing the record, then he was chasing 900 and then this and that, and now it's done. And he can just relax. And I've noticed his game is picking up a lot, and he's getting fewer minutes, which is not necessarily a bad thing because he's getting a little more rest so he can go out there and play with more energy. So that's the thing I've kind of noticed about him, and it's really good to see. I mean, I am absolutely loving what I'm seeing out of Ovi right now.
Well, I think when he's like that, I think especially just as being captain, it becomes contagious.
Exactly.
I've always been a big supporter of when they're out there having fun, is when we see the Caps at their best. And I think that's 100%, Cheryl, you're spot on. That's what we're seeing when your captain is, out there and supporting everybody, but also having a good time, and there's not that stress, that dark cloud over. It wears off on everybody else.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, we're for me, Tom Wilson and Ovechkin are the engines, and how those two go, it seems to be like everyone else, follows that lead.
Yeah.
And the fact that both of them have been playing so great. And as you were saying, I think he now that the goal thing is done, right? I think he wants to prove that he can be a playmaker too, because that's always been the quote unquote, by some people's standards, knock on him comparatively to a Crosby, even though that's not the position that he's playing or why he was on the team. So I always felt that was a weird comparison, but now he can spend time making those passes and focusing on that and setting other people up, and why not, right? There's no reason, it's all gravy at this point from the goals point of view. And as he starts to set more people up, they're going to have to not shadow him as much, right? And then it'll open up even more opportunities for him to score. So
exactly.
So it's a great thing to see. But Gil, why don't you break down this crazy goal? I don't even know how you're going to do it, but it's just this random ass shot. All right.
Scrum in the corner, Strome digs it out, it squirts free, and somehow gets along the boards, and then Ovi sees it, and it's a total eclipse of the captain. Turn around, Ovi.
Just flips it in.
Every time he touches the puck, it goes into the net.
Literally, he did it in a pirouette, almost like one movement, grabs the puck, almost like a lacrosse move, right, Gil? Like he picks it up.
That's a good way of describing it.
It's like because it's a bouncing biscuit, as as Lachlan would put it, and how he gets it to like stay on his curved stick is beyond me. And then he lifts it, and it's like one of those things that you see in Mighty Ducks, like the slow motion where it goes up and it loops over the shoulder and into the back of the net. Where like no goalie could stop that, because like how do you have a looping puck? Like I don't, it's just like it's like a fade in football. I don't know how you do that.
It's crazy.
The best way I can describe this is probably this is a goal that only Alex Ovechkin could have scored.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. And I love it because it's like, all he can do is from The Office. Like, well, this is ridiculous. This is like, no one can do this. So it's like, this is, yes, it's on the side of where his office is, but this is not a shot from The Office. I want to stress that this is a bouncing puck off of a stick, looped up into the area in one fluid motion and over the shoulder and in, right? It's just pretty wild stuff. But an important goal, and ends up being the game winner, I believe, right? And then
yes, it was.
Right, yeah. So, but Connor McMichael gets unassisted goal here. Ooh!
Oh my God, that was the prettiest.
That is great. Yeah. So here,
I think this one deserved a little extra attention. I thought so. Hence the extra footage.
Yeah, no, I'm happy that you did, because he dekes him out of it and goes. I love the patience here, right? I mean, it's so easy to want to shoot it, but to hold it for that long and to know that he's going to go down, and so but he doesn't have a lot, and he's going so fast, and he's got to tuck it behind him. I can't stress how hard that is to do at that kind of a speed, because the window is not very large, as you can see here.
No,
he's got to tap it through. So, incredible show of speed, and just makes me so excited about the future of this team,
Yeah.
And,
I am so excited for this team. I just love it.
So, Anna, what are some of your thoughts on this one?
Again, Gil and I talked about it yesterday. I think, McMichael is special, and we knew before that he just needed to kind of get his momentum going. We'll say last year, and then all of a sudden this year, it's like, as soon as he gets it and he's in that good headspace, and we start to see, just this sick skill that this guy has. I love it, and I think we're just going to see more of it, because he seems to be, on a roll, and that's just amazing for him.
Yeah, he's just, his confidence is going up, and the fact that he's playing with Ovechkin and the fact that he's even moving around on different lines and stuff. I like him on the line with Leonard and who was he on the line with the other night? But I like him on that line. I like that line together. Who was it? Oh, Protus, yeah. So I love it.
Definitely.
And the other thing I like about that play too is Leonard was coming up on the other side. So if he had to, Leonard was open to take the shot.
Mm-hmm.
So
or collect a rebound if there was one.
Right. Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Or a drop pass.
Right.
Yeah. So
exactly.
There's a lot of opportunities there.
So
I think that players, they will now flood to him knowing that he can do this, and so the drop will be open, because people will flood to him, right? So I like it's like in same sort of thing in football is you want to sort of set up plays for the future too, right? Because people will watch the tape and see what they're doing, and so you want to set up opportunities not only for now, but hey, how do you switch it up, for the future?
Yeah.
For the sake of time, let's just move on to the next game. And is this right? Michael was the first goal in this one. This one, at the time, Toronto took a 2-0 lead, and Toronto had been playing fairly well. But as the game kind of went on, I thought that we were getting the better of the chances, although it wasn't showing up on the scoreboard for a while. And we're definitely out shooting them, in the middle frame of this game. But I was excited that Connor McMichael picked up where he left off and got the scoring going for the Capitals. And I'll let Gil break this one down.
So Caps are swarming here. Carlson takes it from the point. Faravari and Wilson. Wilson finally gets it towards the net, and Connor McMichael picks up the loose change. Wonderful backhand, back fist, backhand, however you want to talk of it. Very good backhand shot from him, and presence of mind to pick up, as I said, the loose change and get it in. John Carlson even providing a screen there if you look closely. But yeah, I mean, what have we been saying? Go to the net. Please go to the net and shoot at the net. And this is another example of getting rewarded when you do just that.
Yep. Love it. Now, I didn't get to see much of this game because I was down at my family's house, and my sister had turned off the internet and stuff, so reception was spotty at best. So even with my hotspot, it was hard to watch. I couldn't. So I'm not going to have a lot to say about this game other than what I know from watching recaps.
Yeah, right. had to lean on our chat room for updates.
Yeah,
Right.
I was in the chat and then listening to Marcus's my live stream, so I was able to kind of keep up with what was going on. I just didn't get to see it.
Right. Yeah, I was happy that he scored this goal, big one. Tom Wilson got his 13th assist of the season already. To start that too. Beauvillier just, I thought, such an important and timely goal. But Gil, I'll let you break this one down.
Okay, so Strome gains the zone here, fires it wide, way wide. I don't know if this was by design, but he recovers. Ovi takes a crack at it, or does he?
He was going to. It was a fake shot, and he passes it down low for the tap in.
Okay, well, remember that because that'll come up again. But yes, he fakes the shot, and fools everybody. And over to a waiting Beauvillier at the end, who puts it past Wall for the game-tying goal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anna, what are your thoughts? I feel like this line is starting to gel.
That's exactly what I was just going to say, that I love this this line. Dylan Strome is a complete badass. So amazing. And then Beauvillier, I think he was exactly where he needed to be. And I think that he's another one we're just going to see more of in these upcoming games.
Yeah.
But this line is hot.
Strovillier.
Strovillier. I love it.
I feel like you need to pronounce the O more. Strovillier,
the way I spell it, I have a big capital O in the middle.
Oh, in there, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Got So yeah, I really like the play of the Caps here, and this is exactly what I was just talking about a few minutes ago, where Ovechkin, will draw so much attention still, and by getting these assists, there's a lot of openings for line mates, and I'm excited to see as this continues to grow and develop. And then Jacob Chychrun scores again, his 10th goal of the season.
You're going to want to pause this, Robbie, because the audio kicks in right after he scores a goal. Hint, Cheryl, you are going to love this.
Okay.
Not that there's nothing to love about a Chychrun goal, but
no, and that pass.
I
saw the replay of that, and it was just.
This
beautiful.
was along with the McMichael breakaway, my two favorite goals of the week.
Yeah.
But I had you in mind when I made this video. But
oh God.
Yeah. This was absolutely wonderful.
Should I be scared?
No.
Yes.
No, not at all.
Always.
Yeah.
All right, let's play it here.
Okay, so McMichael along the boards, he's got it. Back to Leonard, and then a two-man game with McMichael. Great seam pass, another seam pass, two great seam passes. And this, of course, is his goal song.
That's what I love this song.
And as you saw, he tied a team record, tying two former Caps greats, Robert Picard and Al Iafrate, for the longest streak for point scoring by a Capitals defender.
Bravo.
So he is
and as much
now
as I
in the
wanted him
Caps
to,
record books.
Yeah, as much as I wanted him to beat that record, in some ways it's kind of cooler
Yeah.
to have like a three-way, share
Yeah.
it with them, so like that way all their names get to stay on the record together. I don't know, there's
I
something
love
cool
it.
about that. So I care less about when you share records as a teammate than I do when you're like trying to take it from somebody else's team, right? So
Yeah.
so it's very exciting. I was so excited for him, and I mean, I think this is maybe the best scoring we've seen out of a defensive player, consistency over a period of time like this since Mike Green, and Mike Green was one of my favorites, and it's nice to have another player like that. I mean, we've seen little spurts of it from John Carlson, but never in a run quite like this.
Yeah, he's not quite as consistent.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, to the point now, two teams are looking for the Olympics.
I know, that's
so,
crazy.
It's crazy.
I think it'll be hard for him to make either squad, but the fact that he's just in his play this year alone, putting himself into consideration is huge, right? And because I don't even think he was on the radar before, right? So, really, some really great stuff there. Big time goal, and Ryan Leonard. What a week for this kid. A lot of points. But his hits, he's just laughing and loving the game. And I don't know. Last year, I felt like when I saw him play, I don't want to say he didn't belong, but he looked a little timid, right? He was scared of the moment in some ways. And this year, I don't see any of that. And now he's reminding me of a young like Tom Wilson, where he's just laughing at the face of danger. And I'm
I saw someone else. I saw on another comment somewhere and like on a Facebook post somewhere. I don't think it was you, but it was somebody else that said the same thing.
Yeah, I saw some comments about that earlier as well. I was like, man, that's such a great analogy. Just like this idea that he
but he doesn't have the
on the puck because he's not a huge guy. He's 6 foot tall. He's not small, but he's not. But you need some of these, guys to step up and play like he's 6'4", right? And it's a mentality as much as anything, right? Yeah. I mean, Dmitry Orlov was a decently big guy, but his hip checks were way bigger than who he was, right?
Oh, God, I loved when Orlov laid down a good hip check. Oh.
Right.
So, there was nothing prettier when he laid down a good hip check.
So it's all about form, and like any player could do it, not any player, but like, I think he can still gain a little bit more muscle, but I think that he's starting to become stronger on the puck, creating plays, being consistent.
I don't think he's 20. I think he's still only 20 years old. So he still has a little bit of growing to do. So he'll get there. He'll get there.
For sure. I'm just excited to see his growth and development because, I was a little worried that, did we bring him in too quickly, throw him into the playoff spotlight that can sometimes, stunt a player. Sometimes it's better to go through the channels and go through Hershey first. And some players need that development and seasoning. He's clearly not the guy that needs that, which is great. That's what you hope for in a top draft pick, but it's not always the case for sure. But I just thought his play throughout this week was phenomenal. Even if the goals aren't necessarily there, it's all the other things. I mean, Tom Wilson didn't really get the goal scoring bug until relatively recently, right? I mean, he always could put in a couple, but they just very similar. It's funny because we had always kind of equated him to being more like a TJ Oshie, but if he's like another Tom Wilson, that would be exciting as well.
Better.
So it's interesting. We don't really know what he's going to develop into yet. He's still 20, and especially having a captain like Tom Wilson in the future. What does he develop following that leadership style? So
exactly,
that would be exciting.
Learn a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of Tom Wilson, why not? Let's talk about his.
Let's continue.
There we go.
Let's continue. Tom Wilson, empty net goal. I'll let Gil take this one away.
So Tom does what Tom does best: waits for the winning of the puck in the corner and throws it 180 feet down, and he delivers as he always does, feeding the people like
Nice.
like the king that he is.
Yep.
And it's when it
rains,
you
it
can't help
pours.
it. Come raining down nuggets when he plays all the time.
Right.
But
Two
you
seconds left.
gotta have some skill to do that. Look where he is.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
He's at the back circle
Yes.
dots
Right.
when he fires that thing.
And with
Wild.
2 seconds
And he
left.
only has 2 seconds left. It's not very much time to get the nuggets.
No.
You know.
Right.
And it's so funny because and we've talked about him a lot on this show. My favorite podcaster and after game analysis is one Steve Dangle. He's who encouraged me to do this. And watching his thing. So watching an angry Steve Dangle video after this warmed my heart to know, because that's what he's known for, is being angry. And I mean, he laid it out. But I also, on his channel, he's gotten so popular, he has his own channel. And one of the other guys that's on his podcast, not on the post-game show, but he has his own podcast too, was live streaming during it. And I rewound to watch that. And just like the salt and the wound. And, I was like, of course it's Tom Wilson. Just like, it's great to see. And, Toronto just... Man, I know that Mitch Marner is important, Gil, but I didn't necessarily know that, it's been a pretty bad start for Toronto.
Well, that move aside, not re-signing him, they've made a couple of questionable moves, and they're not even top tier moves. It's more the middle tier and the bottom tier players that they've moved around that has not quite worked in their favor. And I still think under Coach Craig Berube, they're still trying to figure out who they are. And they're not, I don't know. They don't look like a team that's well put together right now. They look like a collection of individuals that are going 35 different ways. And that just never ever bodes well. And there's a lot of screaming out of that camp for them to blow it up right now. There really is.
The coach doesn't seem to fit, and I don't know.
No, I'll be honest. I don't think he was the best choice. He maybe for the playoff mentality, but for a long run like this, I don't think he was honestly the best choice.
I think he got kind of lucky in some ways with lucking into that championship, based on a team, he was surrounded by. And I don't know. It's interesting. Also, coaches are different in different situations. But you can even see the next season after they won it, right? It just wasn't quite the same.
They went downhill in a hurry.
Right. So, and sometimes that happens. But, yeah. All right, well, let's keep the Tom Wilson train going. We're going to talk about the first goal of the Islanders game. I'm happy we weren't sleepy in this game, especially our goaltender early. Was in it to win it, and you got to be in these 1:00 games because, man, our defense tends to lay some goose eggs out there early in these 1:00 starts, and having a great goaltender help pick it up and get him here, let's get going, guys. I'm going to save your bacon here, but I'm going to need some goal support. And we got some goal support from Tom Wilson here. But Gil, why don't you break it down from there?
All right, so Caps are on a power play here. Wilson goes where? To the net, sneakily though. And so you mentioned Ovechkin fooling people. This is exactly what he does here. And the way he does it, well, let's just borrow from a baseball analogy here, and he throws a changeup, basically, is what happens.
Yeah.
So we're seeing it here. So Leonard with the seam pass to Ovi. He looks like he's going to shoot, but it's a nice soft changeup to Wilson, who creeps in, waiting at the net, and slams it home.
I love Leonard on the power play.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that opens up so many opportunities, and now you've got to play that side with a real scoring threat across from Ovechkin, and so he's not going to shoot it. Ovechkin's not going to shoot it, but he actually shoots it down low. But you have to play that Ovi's going to always shoot it, so you've got to be down and out. And so to be on the goal line where Tom Wilson was, he snuck behind and basically shot it off the back of the goalie. And in. But Anna, what are some of your thoughts on Tom Wilson?
Well, I know a week or so ago we had talked about the frustration with the power play lack of goals, I should say. And then I think for my big takeaway from this was when you have a captain and you have Tom Wilson and you have other players that are saying, we're just so damn predictable. You have to change things up. You have to, they didn't expect Ovi to do this and Tom to be where he was. Keep doing shit like this because it's working.
Absolutely.
So stop being, like the predictability, everyone knows it, everyone expects it. But I think now that we're not chasing, a Gretzky goal or any sort of record, I think we're going to see more of these kind of fun but strategic, passes from Ovechkin.
Exactly.
And I think that's just smart hockey, and it's going to be fun, and it's going to be awesome for fans to watch.
Yeah, and it'll make the team better because it'll provide opportunities for other people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, I don't doubt that, like, Ryan Leonard is going to benefit from this in the next couple of games.
I'm sure.
Because now he's been known as the passer, right? So they're going to play off him a little bit more and play to some of the other ones, which will then give him some more room to skate into. So,
right. And another reason why we all love Ovechkin is that he is such a selfless player at this point in his career that he is just as excited for a Ryan Leonard first goal versus a Strome or a Wilson. Like, he has the same smile, hug, just being overall excited for everybody. And I think it's just going to be more of like, that's going to be his strategy of like, what can I do to make it for my family to score.
Right. It's funny that you say that because Ovi's always the first to the bench, which I always think funny because usually the goal scorer is the first in most situations. But I don't think it's in any sort of cocky way. I think he wants to get the team fired up for the goal scorer who's going to come down right behind him, right? So 100%. I feel like it can get misconstrued. It's like, oh, he's taking credit.
That's funny. I didn't even notice. I never even noticed that actually, that he was always the first one through.
So he always is the first one down. Getting everyone like all hyped because they all just got to give fist bumps to the greatest hockey player of all time, and then the goals go. So and he's just as excited as you said. Jumps up, into their arms, and we'll do a celebration with them, and it's just I'm so happy he was able to break all of it in the 900 so early in the season that give them time to settle in. I didn't want that to be like a looming cloud for a long period of time, and just some great stuff there. If one Tom Wilson goal is good, two Tom
Here's
Wilson
another.
Is better.
This is like my night.
Exactly. Tom Wilson would get a hattie of points in this night. All right, Gil, why don't you break this one down?
So Wilson's waiting here for the puck to go by, and we know him as a puck stealing, McNugget dealing, net stuffer, nobody's tougher, but he's also a thankful guy. And here he's thanking goalie Ilya Sorokin for the giveaway, which he does right here, and right place, right time, stuffs it in like a Thanksgiving turkey.
Yes. Yep. Wild to me that he would ever throw it up the middle here. What a brain fart. This is the one thing they tell you never to do.
I don't think he was expecting Wilson to come up that far, though. I think he was trying to get it to.
Well, Tom Wilson looked like he baited him to make it look like he was going to take away the boards.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's why he was kind of, if you look where he's right there, it looked like he was going to wait. And then he skates right in. So he cuts in at the very last minute and intercepts it. So it's a really well played. It actually, you kind of almost miss that first part because how quick it goes. But he basically took away the spot that Ilya wanted to throw it. And he was like, well, fine, I guess my only option is down the middle. The reality is that was not the only option. He should have gone the other way. But the thing that you can kind of see here, and I should pause it here, is the other forwards do a good job of cutting off the other angles, right?
Right.
So you can't go right back here because same thing would happen on the flip side, right?
Protus is there, yeah.
Right.
And
So
with
you can't
Michael,
shoot it here, which is the third option, because
Right.
34 is here. So like they did a good
sort
job of boxing him in, kind of. And I mean, the fact that we've got 3 guys in closer to the puck than the 3 defenders in blue, right? They're all out of position here. So
Right.
it's easy to blame the goalie, and I do blame the goalie because it's still a terrible pass. But like, it would almost be better to throw it out of, and take a penalty here, than it would be to do what he did. So,
at least he didn't put it in the net himself. So
right.
there's that, I suppose, right?
Yeah, that would have been interesting if he did that from behind the net.
Well,
That would be,
You never know.
bouncing weird
You never
pucks,
Stranger things have happened.
It's true.
That's true.
But yeah, great goal, and just that you need that sort of momentum to keep going. This is in the second period now, and you felt like the Islanders were starting to gain a little bit of something back, and you just kind of have to keep playing in the Islander zone and hope for good things to happen. And Anna, what are some of your thoughts on this one?
Well, Tom, enough said. No, I thought it was actually funny because I don't know if you guys were watching and listening to Joe B and Locker, but they were talking about how amazing if like Russia had a team, like who would their goalie be because of all these amazing Russian goalies, and Ilya obviously being one, and then this happened right after, and they were like, oh,
no, maybe not.
That was kind of awkward. But no, this was just, perfect timing, at the right place at the right time. Maybe it's another strategy that they're going to start considering, like where they are right now when you look at that frame. So I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
This
is another one I didn't get to see a whole lot of.
C4, your favorite person has just entered the fray.
Rhea?
Ripley. Yeah,
my girl.
Yeah, I just had to put that out there. So they're in a match we'll talk about in a little bit, in an hour or two. Yeah, I'm so happy that Tom is getting sort of the credit that he has been getting, but also just the all team game. He's arguing calls for other players. He's getting in and he's getting under people's skin, but he's not hitting people in bad positions. He's
mature.
Calling out his hits ahead of time. He's going down here and beating the play, right? A lot of people are like, oh, the goalie has it, like just back up and play a defensive posture. No, let's keep going and push it forward and push the issue, and just really playing the game the right way. And I mean, there's a reason why he's the third star. I know it's often given because you have 8 points, which is great, but his play this week was well beyond just the 8 points that he put up. The effort and bringing everybody along for the ride is huge here. In the third period, we've got an Alexei Protas empty net goal. And kind of important in the sense that it was 2-1 and the Islanders were pushing it. And I just watched a play for another team where they missed an empty netter and the other team came around and scored a goal right away in the Sharks game, I believe it was. So so people always talk about this, and we talked about it last week. Empty net goals are really important, right? Because they're 6 on 5. It's like a power play. You don't want to make too many mistakes, and you got to bury
especially
anything
when you have nearly 2 minutes in time left.
Right.
Well, 18 for almost 3 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. The Islanders are known for going to the empty net quite early in close games. Gil, why don't you help us break down this empty net goal?
Hodgepodge of players here. Wilson wins the battle with Roy. Roy throws it. It's not an icing because they weren't shorthanded, but it hit somebody.
It was not an icing because 21 watch right here.
Oh, right.
He beats it to the dots. Whoever gets to these dots first.
Thanks for pointing that out, Robbie.
Yeah.
That's the hybrid icing rule. If you are first to the dot, or if they're even, the lines person is supposed to keep it alive. That's what happened here. Brodus was first, fires it at the net. Very sharp angle here, manages to get it in.
So awkward.
No, just no. Mm-mm.
But
C4,
I'm happy
you're looking like Anna there, or sounding like Anna.
Right?
So I'm happy that
Awkward.
Protos got this because I feel like he's been snake bit lately, and so I'm
Yeah.
hoping, even though there's the empty netter, like the hustle to get there,
Whoops.
and I mean, what a great. He's got such incredible strides right here. I mean, you can watch in this replay, you can see the strides, and it's just like having long legs is helpful.
Here's a throwback and a different sport, but moves well for a big guy. It reminds me a little bit of Tony Siragusa for the Ravens.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Here's this big guy, 275 pounds, but moves like a gazelle, and you wouldn't expect that from a guy who's 6'6" on skates, 6'7" on skates, 200 plus pounds. But he can move and find the puck very well when he needs to.
Great conditioning and off-season workout, because it's hard to move a big frame that quickly. I know that you got strides and you got longer legs, but having less mass is actually easier to pull around on ice, right? So, the fact that he's that strong and can do it, shows that, what sort of conditioning he's in. And his little brother is been playing incredible. In just a few moments, we're going to get C4's thoughts on the Hershey Bears, but just some incredible stuff. And, I do wonder if he will get an opportunity to move up to play for the Capitals this season, or if they're going to want to keep him another year of eligibility. So it'll be interesting to see where he goes. I mean, keeps on scoring, it's going to be hard to ignore him, right? So I'm not sure if he's quite ready. Gil's giving me a face, so I don't know if he thinks that
No. Let him over ripen. Let him stay in Hershey. Let him develop more. Give him more time against men.
Right.
He's right. If you send him up, even if it's later in the season, unless they've got like a huge rash of injuries, realistically, if you bring him up, where are you going to put him? You're going to put him on the third or fourth line, where his talents are going to be stunted. So I don't think that's going to serve him well. I have zero problem with him finishing the year in Hershey.
Absolutely not. No problem.
Hey, Robbie, I'm going to have to jump off soon.
Yeah, I just saw the time. Okay, so we'll go. This will be the last goal. We'll have Ovechkin with an empty netter. He got the nuggets that were left out. But Gil, I'll let you break this one down.
Okay, so still empty net here. D'Angelo gives it up to Beauvillier, who pokes it ahead, and Ovechkin does his thing, skates it on, and walks it in.
Yeah.
And,
pizza here.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
Yeah, it's pizza and McNuggets, because it's the McNugget minute goal, and Ovechkin, like Tom Wilson, is feeding families with his play.
Right.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, Ann, I'll let you give your thoughts on Alex Ovechkin. Any final thoughts you want, and then I will talk to C4 and Gil about the upcoming West Coast Road
again, it was very empty netter, but it's Alex Ovechkin, so of course we're honored and humbled to be watching him score again, and it was just with such grace, and which is wonderful. And I'm looking forward. I'm not going to be watching the West Coast games, but I will be obviously seeing everything the next morning. I think it's going to be a hell of a week, and if these guys can pull off 2 out of 3, I'm going to keep my fingers crossed and be optimistic that they're going to be riding a very nice wave if they can pull that off. They just need to keep that momentum going. And no, that was not a California pun.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. And I really appreciate the time and being able to come on. I know that the next couple of weeks you've got a bunch of stuff coming up, and so this might be the last one that we have with you. Or maybe
are you doing the show on the 15th?
I am. So yeah.
Okay,
So
yeah. So I'll most likely be on for that one. I want to see if I can poke in and say, for your birthday show next week, I'm just like between winter concerts, so I will figure something out for sure.
You always can jump on the Zoom, and it's always the same link. So if you can always pop on in. Yeah, we're doing a birthday podcast next week on the 8th, and then I'll tell you at the end of the show, people. But I'm also going to do a podcast on the 9th during my birthday in the morning if people wanted to play video games with me that morning. So it's kind of like a twofer for my birthday on the 8th and 9th. And then on the 15th will be the very last podcast of 2025. And then we'll take off on the 22nd and the 29th, and then we'll come back on the 5th. But yeah, so maybe we'll get to see Anna once more or twice more, but either way, I hope that you have a good holiday season and some good holiday concerts. And thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah, no, thanks. It's always fun, and I'm looking forward to seeing good results while they're in my home state next week.
Yes.
All right. Have a great night. Thanks, guys. Bye, Cheryl.
Good night. See ya.
Bye, Gail.
Night.
All right, so Anna alluded to it. We do have a West Coast run coming up here. We're going to have to play the Kings, a team that's very good that was that we beat just a couple weeks ago on the podcast. But they're going to want to get some revenge. They're one of the best road teams in the league, so they're going to try to get the home win this time and flip it on us. We got a 10:30 start for the Tuesday game, and then we got to be right back at it less than 24 hours later, Gil. They don't do us any favors. 10 o'clock start on Wednesday. It's a lot of hockey in like less than 27 hours. And then on Friday, so just one day off, and then we got to play Anaheim, who's the number one team in the Pacific, at 10 o'clock our time as well. What was that?
Who'd have thunk that?
I know. That's crazy. I love that they're back to the Mighty Ducks logo, though.
I do like the logo, yeah.
Yes, so that's my childhood right there. So tough set of 3 games. Gil, quick thoughts on the West Coast swing?
This could go one of many different ways. It's 3 tough teams. San Jose always plays them tough, and you got the kids who are. Wow, really doing a number on the league. Macklin Celebrini is top 3 in scoring right now.
Yeah.
The Ducks have a resurgence under their new coach, and the Kings. It's probably one of the toughest teams to score on. So not going to be an easy out at all.
No.
2 out of 3 would be great. 3 out of 6 points would be pretty good, I think. I wouldn't be surprised if they come out of it with 1 win, though, but we'll see.
Yeah. I think that the Sharks is our best chance of a win. To be honest, I think we'll lose.
Probably, yeah.
Too, but this is my gut feeling. C4, real quickly, I want you to give a Chicago Bears.
Chicago?
The Hershey Bears. I was watching football at the same time. Okay. So that was Hershey Bears update while I go refill my glass. So talk to Gil real quickly about that, and then I'm going to.
I did not go to the game on Saturday night. I was down in Virginia, but Jared went with his friend, or Marcus went with his friend Jared. And this sign, I don't know if you can see it.
I can see it. I know it. Okay. I know it well.
Okay. So for those of you who don't know this story, apparently they ended up sitting right behind Jared and Marcus during the game. And security came and took it away, and they fought vehemently to try and keep it. But Marcus is like, yeah, we got to find that security guy. He's my new hero. But apparently those kids were causing some trouble, trying to cause trouble. Marcus texted me. When he saw the sign, he texted me. He says, I might get kicked out of here, man. I'm like, what now? But the Bears did win that game. Robbie, this is what I was referring to.
Oh, yeah, the sign. I've seen the sign.
Yeah, so you saw the picture?
Yeah.
So apparently, I was telling you, they actually ended up sitting right behind Marcus and Jared.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and security came.
Really classy and classless, rather, and like just like the fact that you thought that you were going to get away with that at that ring was just crazy to me. Like they're like, I spent a lot of time on that sign. Like no one gives a fuck that you spent a lot of time on it.
2 hours on that sign.
2 hours on a with a magic marker and some cardboard.
Yeah, right.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, the state of education up there. My God.
But anyway, so the Bears won 6-2 that night. Produce scored twice. And he was named second star of the game. We did not fare so well on Sunday. Stevenson was in net again, and he did not look particularly good. The score wasn't bad. It was 4-3. So it was a tight game, but we were getting outplayed badly. So the fact that it was only 4-3 was pretty impressive. We had a real hard time against their defense. They just were clogging up the zone. They were on us like white on rice. It was, we played as hard as we could, but to no avail. But, can't win them all. But it was, all in all, it was a good time. So we lost. But, I was watching Cristal, and he's getting better. He's getting better. He's still kind of small, and he's still getting muscled off the puck a little bit more than I would like, but he's starting to make his presence known, and he's starting to make plays and stuff like that. And the scoring will come, I think. So I'm not giving up on him yet. So I'm looking forward to our prospects. Chesley had a pretty decent game. But Stevenson he started both nights, so I think he was just a little tired from the night before. So, but
all right. Well, Rhea Ripley just stopped a count out, and it's been a crazy tag team match here. I'm gonna actually let you go. Probably watch the end of this. We're gonna switch over to wrestling. That's gonna be my segue. But Gil and C4 and Anna, thank you guys so much for covering the Capitals. A great perfect week. We don't get a lot of perfect weeks, so we got to celebrate them where we can have them. But Gil, thank you, and let people know real quickly on the Power Play Point podcast what you're gonna have this week.
So looks like I will be co-hosting with another California girl. I call her Miss Gin Dependent, Jenny Clausen, who's been on with us a couple of times. C4, I'm going to check in with you, but I'm not quite sure what the availability will be.
That's fine.
So it's right now it's looking like me and her, and we're going to be talking about the California trip and see how they do, and it's going to be another fun evaluation of hopefully a perfect week, but we'll see.
Yeah. So for the record, the reason will probably not be recording is I will be at yet another Bears game. So
season ticket holder,
worth every penny.
Yep.
It has been fantastic. Yeah. I'm already like set to renew. So
awesome.
Yeah. Awesome. I think I'm gonna keep these tickets for a few years.
Nice. Yeah. I'll definitely have to go to a game sometime. I've always wanted to go to a Hershey Bear game, so
You haven't been to one yet?
No, I've never gone to one, which is crazy.
Well, I'll tell you what. If there's a week that we're not going, a time we're not going, let me know. I can send you the tickets. You can use ours.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, I would love that. Maybe even take Zach up for a road trip or something. So well, thank you guys so much. We're going to switch over to wrestling and some football talk, but definitely catch C4 off the Circum's Capitals Off Their Chain podcast. You can also check them out at All Sports Podcast Network on YouTube. Catch Gil, obviously, in the Power Play Point podcast, the Blue Liner on Point. And I appreciate both of your time, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Night, Robbie.
Good night.
Night, Cheryl.
Good night.
All right, with that, we're going to switch over and bring in Sith and Champ. And this Raw has been nuts, Sith. There's just mayhem after this women's tag team match. And, interesting. I did not
Fatal four-way for the tag titles win?
Yeah, exactly.
When?
Yeah.
Oh, there's
So
Liv. What the fuck?
that's
what
exactly.
doing?
You saw. I was making sure you saw it. Yeah, Liv just appeared out of nowhere. So.
Now the Judgment Day women want to get involved. We can't have a 5-way. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Fuck right off.
Yeah. Ooh. Interesting.
Well, Liv did put out the ultimatum saying that things were going to get straightened out within the Judgment Day, and people are going to be held accountable if stuff doesn't go correctly. So, Liv issued an ultimatum earlier.
So they're just gonna tell Bailey and Lyra to get fucked and put them in there. Awesome.
Oh, it's in Kansas City next week.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. All right. It's Judgment Day has 3 strong women now, and it's gonna be interesting to see how they play off of that.
Well, apparently Liv wants the women's world title. She confronted Stephanie Vaquer, and now Liv is basically giving Roxanne the blessing, the team with Raquel, and trying to go after the women's tag titles. So there you go.
Yeah. Welcome on In Dream and Truth. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. For people who are just tuning in, Sith, what were your thoughts on the 2 semifinal matches tonight on Raw for the tournament?
Solo just had the match of his career. Even though he lost, this is Solo Sikoa's best match since NXT.
Oh, wow.
Roster. One thing about Walter throughout this whole tournament, everyone he's faced has come out looking like $10 million. Go down the list. Javon Evans, Carmelo Hayes, now Solo Sikoa. I'm looking for someone who's an elder statesman that can put over the younger talent and get them ready to take over. And I'm looking at Walter. And as far as LA Knight Jey Uso is concerned, that was a really good match. But then afterwards, though, something that I think is a reaction to what's happening on social media, especially YouTube, is happening. It might be turning Jay heel, and I don't think it's a good move. I know that his disliked videos are getting ratioed big time on YouTube, but he's massively over with the fans in the arena. So I don't know about this, but the match, both matches in the tournament were really, where it came to LA Knight and Jay, it was a very strong match. Enjoyed it a lot. I'm deciding on push or big push right now. Right now would be a big push. But Solo versus Walter, that gets a mega push in our lexicon in no spots, because oh my God, that was just awesome. Champ?
Yeah, Champ, what are your thoughts on some of the action from Raw tonight?
Hang on, I'm watching Jackson Dart just running around like a crazy, and he just got a 2-point conversion. Giants are not out of this game, by the way. They're only down.
It was crazy.
15.
The 94-yard run back. I thought, oh God, they're gonna get the storm door blown off. So it's getting.
I tell you, the Giants play so much different with Jackson Dart than they do with either Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston. Though they play with a lot of passion and fire with Jameis, whereas with Russell they play like crap. But the 2 semifinal matches for the last time is now tournament were very, very well done. Walter and Solo, I knew that was going to be a physical matchup, and it was a physical matchup and then some. And Solo had a lot of opportunities. He even had help from Tala Tonga, the former Hikuleo, and it still wasn't enough to take down the ring general. And there you go. Like the rumors look like they're going to be true that Walter's going to be the one that faces Cena, because all he has to do now is beat LA Knight on Friday, and LA Knight and Jey Uso put on a really great contest. The potential Jey Uso heel turn might actually happen, because there was a moment during that post-match where the crowd was chanting at Jey Uso, "You suck." So it could be the possibility that the heel turn could work because it seems like the crowd is starting to turn a little bit on Jay. And that's the best way to perpetuate a heel turn is when the crowd, if you have a very over baby face, but then the crowd decides it's like that they've had enough and they start to turn on them, then that's the perfect time to turn them around. And I think with some people in the crowd in Arizona chanting at Jay that he sucks, then it could lead to a slow burn heel turn. But either way, he put on a really good matchup with LA Knight. LA Knight got the W, so we're getting Walter versus LA Knight on Friday. I can't wait for that one. That should be a really, really good one. The women's tag team division is starting to get muddled now that Liv is back, and now the Judgment Day wants to get involved. Bailey and Lyra is in there. Of course, Charlotte and Alexa, who are the former champs. Rhea and Io and the current champs, the Kabuki Warriors. There is a lot going on with that. And so then also one thing that we're not talking about that I'm going to bring up is Braun Breaker's promo. Can we talk about scorched earth? He scorched earth the hell out of CM Punk with that promo. He absolutely eviscerated him. And I think that was Braun Breaker's best promo of his career so far. I mean, absolutely just full of emotion, passion, and anger, and letting it be known that come January 5th, Itengo, which is Japanese for January 5th, he's going after CM Punk in that World Heavyweight Championship. And I cannot wait for that.
So, is there a PLE for that night? What is that day?
No, that's Raw. That's Raw. It's the 1 year anniversary of Raw debuting on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
And so that's why they're doing that match, because the 1 year anniversary of Raw debuting on Netflix, and it'll be like days before the 32nd anniversary or 33rd anniversary of Raw debuting overall. So that's a pretty big matchup to have on Raw as a World Heavyweight Championship match.
I'm just surprised that they're already promoting it this far out for that. But I guess it's only a month away now. But it's gonna. I hope for that match. I actually really like that promo too. I stopped and watched it, and I like the sunglasses and the flare, and having I was kind of surprised. I thought that Jake Paul
Logan. You keep saying Jake, it's Logan.
Logan, sorry.
It's Logan.
Logan Paul. I thought that he wasn't going to be. I thought it was just going to be for War Games. I guess I didn't expect him to stay as part of this faction. So
I think it's a good idea. I think it's a good move.
Yeah, no, I do too.
Logan has gone solo most of his time. When he first debuted, he was with The Miz, and then he was on his own and everything like that. But I like this for Logan because it generates a lot more heat when he has someone like a Paul Heyman by him. And a lot of people can't stand Paul Heyman, though they like to repeat his "my name is Paul Heyman" gimmick. But I think this is good for him to continue to generate more heat on him and things like that. I just find it funny that Logan Paul tried to establish himself as the next contender for the World Heavyweight Championship, but then it turned out to be Braun Breaker because Braun pinned CM Punk in War Games. So I'm wondering how that's going to play out. That's why I really like this. I wonder how this is going to play out in terms of Logan Paul wanting to be the world champion, but having to take a back seat to Braun Breaker.
I thought we'd actually find out who the masked man was tonight. So I was kind of surprised that is still. I'm curious when they'll make an appearance again. And
they're gonna slow burn that.
Yeah,
they're gonna slow burn that one.
Yeah, so
even though the internet already figured it out, it's Austin Theory.
Yeah,
the three of us had it figured out within like 15 minutes of
the show ending,
of it happening. We were just like, oh wait, if it's not Seth, it's gotta be Austin Theory. But they're doing the right thing and slow burning it the way, even though the internet's figured it out. they're doing the right thing and slow burning it. Right now, your top program with the Vision is CM Punk versus Braun Breaker, January 5th.
Mm-hmm.
And after that promo tonight, which was not only Braun's best promo of his career, but honestly, I saw a sign of Braun on the mic. They reminded me of WCW Scott Steiner when he broke up, when he split from Rick, where he just went scorched earth. He would literally eviscerate people on the mic. You know, you're thinking, Braun, you bring that fire week to week, you're going to be a fucking megastar. He's going to be a fucking megastar. He is huge, and he's a face of the future already. You ask me who one of the building blocks is to carry WWE forward after Punk, Roman, Cody, and all of them retire. Person number one's easily Braun Breaker. Easily.
You know, it's funny. We talked about it a little bit earlier, and I kind of want to go back to it. You mentioned megastar, and I know that the easy choice is to have Walter win. But man, would I love an LA Knight John Cena match. I don't know. I just think that there is so much energy that they could bring, and there's something about him that reminds me of John Cena. And I don't know. I don't think they'd ever do it or pull the trigger, but man, because I feel like Gunther's gotten a lot of pushes and breaks where I feel that LA Knight hasn't, and this could be a big one for him if he were able to get it done.
Yeah, I feel like LA Knight needs a lot more than Walter does, because Walter's bid is currently in the record books as the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion in history, 666 days. He held the World Heavyweight Championship. He won King of the Ring. He's done so much, as well as being an NXT UK champion. He's done so much that he really doesn't need the accolade of retiring John Cena. He doesn't need it. LA Knight needs it a lot more than Walter. So it would be great if the brain trust of WWE sees all the internet rumors coming out that it's Walter that's going to be the one facing Cena and retiring Cena, and they turn around and swerve us all, and it's Walter that ends up winning the tournament and being the one to beat John Cena on Cena's way out. That would be absolutely amazing. And I think that you would get a lot of buzz behind it, because you have someone like LA Knight who's been grinding for dozens of years in wrestling. He's been a world champion elsewhere, yes, but he's never achieved a lot of success in WWE. He's won the United States Championship, yes, but that's been the only bit of success that he's had in his time in WWE. I think that him retiring John Cena would be the biggest feather in his cap for his career. That would be amazing. And I think that it would draw a lot of people to watch just to see if LA Knight can beat the greats. I
personally would rather watch that than I would Walter, just from a style point of view,
Their live react next Saturday night, which is going to be an emotional night for Champ and myself to begin with, because Cena's hanging up the boots. I would much rather live react to LA Knight versus John Cena. Champ will tell you, I am one of the biggest fans of Walter you'll ever see. Loved him in Europe before he even came to NXT UK. And he's done everything in WWE up to this point. And I know the internet buzz. I know what the rumors are. I know. But if you want to separate yourself from the internet and say, we're going to throw you a curve Friday night. LA Knight defeats Walter in a major match that goes through 2 commercial breaks, possibly 3. The way I would do it actually is I would have it as your main event Friday night, commercial free. So the last 30 minutes, Walter, LA Knight, have LA Knight go over. And then right before SmackDown goes off, have LA Knight cut the promo of a century on John Cena. Because he'll have that. Well, actually, the winner gets next Monday night on Raw to cut the promo on Cena to get ready to build that match on Saturday night's main event. But I would much rather watch LA Knight versus Cena. No disrespect to Walter, but he's done so much right now. I agree with both of you. He doesn't need to have retiring Cena as a feather in his cap. LA Knight does at this point. LA Knight has been a victim, except for when he won the IC title, the United States Championship, of start, stop. Okay, we're going to push him towards the world title, but we'll yank it from under him. A lot like Lucy pulling the football away from Charlie Brown. This is how LA Knight's been done on the main roster where it comes to a world championship match. Or to use a wedding expression, always the bridesmaid, never the bride. That's LA Knight right now. So right now, LA Knight really needs to retire Cena. I'm not going to be mad if it's Walter because I know it's going to be a good match, but Walter doesn't need it. That's the problem.
Yeah, I agree. Let's before we lose all of our time with Sith, although we could talk about this for hours. That's why you can check out the No Spots podcast if you want to hear more of the silence of Sith and Champ talking about wrestling. But Sith, I know you wanted to talk a little bit about the Commanders and their effort and their great play last night. So I'll let you have the floor for that.
All right. We need to have a come to Jesus moment here, folks. Brother Soap's going to talk for a minute. Look, last night was devastating, but here's the thing. True or false, we fought and we clawed and we kept fighting. Yes. I know that a lot of us want draft position, and I get that. But I'm going to say this, win or lose, where it comes to the free agents, where it comes to even the coaching staff that's under Dan Quinn, everyone's in evaluation mode right now. Everyone. The players on the field are under evaluation mode right now. Why? Because the ones that want to stay, renew a deal and stay in DC for the next couple of seasons, they're going to be out there trying to prove that they deserve a roster spot come next year. So when it comes to when things start to open up for free agency and whatnot, maybe management and ownership might consider signing me to a longer deal here. Okay, cool. So my challenge to our team is very simple. Win or lose, I'm still going to watch y'all. But just get out there and do what you did last night, where you left it all on the field. Yes, mistakes were made, absolutely. But who plays a perfect game? I remember watching Brady in a Super Bowl. I think he was playing the Giants, and he threw 4 picks in the first half. No, it was the Falcons. Threw 4 picks in the first half. And people call him as one of the greats of this generation that's retired now. So, yeah, just keep fighting. That's what we do. Ignore all the noise over here, because the diehards will be with you win or lose. The loyal fans will be with you win or lose these next 5 games. I think that we have a good chance of beating Minnesota. I think we have a really good chance of beating the Giants. And the way Philly and Dallas are playing, we got a puncher's chance of winning those games. we could go, I think, 3-2, 4-1, 5-0 would be remarkable. But I think we could finish 3-2 down the stretch.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give up hope on this team. I know that there's a safety that we could get if we stayed at number 6. That would really be a good pick for us from Ohio State. But the flip side of the coin is we could also trade back and acquire more picks. So there's a lot of things that we can do. Yes, there are needs that we need in the draft. So I respect that people are coming out doing their draft mock drafts now. That's cool. But I want to see what we do the next 5 weeks because these players and coaches are under an evaluation period now. It's no longer, can we try to make the playoffs? No, it's evaluation time. If Jaden Daniel, if the coaching staff and the medical doctors believe that Jaden's ready to come back, cool. If not, let Mariota run with it the rest of the way out.
For me, it would take a lot. I just don't think I'd want to put him back in. I mean, if he's perfectly clear, the advantage to disadvantage, of getting him re-injured, in a season that doesn't mean a whole lot. I like to conserve my assets, Is he going to learn a lot in those next 5 games that would then carry over? Maybe, but is the injury worth that? I'm not sure. So
as close as he is with Mariota and Kings, and and the offensive coordinator, the quarterback's coach, Dan Quinn himself, he's learning either being up in the booth with the coaches up in the booth or down on the field. And with the people saying, oh, he only came out in the 4th quarter, he was with the coaches upstairs in the booth watching the game and learning.
He actually wasn't in the booth. He was actually in a luxury box watching. I say that he was in a luxury box watching, and then as the game got close, he came down to the field to watch.
Yeah, people are mad at him for that. I'm like, he's inactive.
Don't get me started on these fans because I know you got to go, Sith, so I don't want to hold you up. I'm going to wait till you leave, and then I'm going to get my shit off. So I'll cook in a minute.
Hey, Champ, hold on. I'm throwing you something. Something I haven't thrown to you in a while.
Throw me the
shovel.
Give me the shovel. I'll use the shovel in just a minute. I'll wait till you get out of here, and then I'll use the shovel.
But this Sunday in the basement, oh boy, I'm digging up some controversy. Y'all know I'm a fan of reboots and remakes. So about 30 TV shows or movies that I think are due for a reboot or a remake.
Oh, that's cool.
And this is not a hot take that I'm going to leave y'all with, but there were 2 drafts of Alien 3 that could have been used that would have reset what happened in Alien 3. One of which is Ripley she kind of drifted away into a med lab at the beginning and appears at the end. And the other took place at a monastery before they decided, we're going to do the penal colony. But still, it was pretty wild, the monastery one, where you had these monks that believed in peace and all this stuff, and they didn't have any weapons or anything, and they had to fight these xenomorphs with Hicks and Ripley, and Newt was with her grandmother. So, there's 30 franchises, both TV and mixed in with TV as well as movies. And then the following week on the 14th is The Last Basement of 2025, Stephen King ranking, which includes The Running Man, which I admit I'm a fan of the book, of the short story. Love the Arnold movie. Y'all know that. This was decent, but it needs some space. I need some space for nostalgia to grow. Right now, marginally, the Arnold movie's better, but I think the biggest weakness here is Edgar Wright wasn't able to go full Edgar Wright with his directing and vision. He was able to do that. That would have superseded 87, in my view. But it's 41 films in all. Might add Salem's Lot from the 70s, the miniseries there, because that's a pretty wicked one. All of that, and Champ will give y'all all the good stuff on No Spots towards the end of him. So I bid everyone a good night.
Oh, and Sid, I wanted to let you know I did see Zootopia. I always do a Disney watch every Thanksgiving of a Disney movie with my family. My cousins have done it for over 30 years with them. I love Zootopia too. It had some scary moments. The kids were like curled up in our arms, but it was still like it was a great movie. I honestly think it's as good as the first one. I don't know if you ever saw the first Zootopia, but yeah, I think it was great. I highly recommend watching Zootopia, then watching Zootopia Plus on Disney Plus because it fills in a little bit of story, and then going right into Zootopia 2. That's what we did as a family with me and the kids. We did like a marathon, and they had a blast. So I highly recommend that.
Did we watch what's likely going to be the best movie of the year?
Oh, what is that?
The Long Walk.
Oh yeah, I've heard good things about that.
It's something that that if you love dystopian fiction, this is awesome to watch. It's this contest involving these teenage young men, and they're in this contest.
Oh, I've heard of this movie. Yeah,
it is.
Oh, wide open Hunter Henry for the tutty, but there's a flag.
I'm gonna wait on the flag. I want Champ to tell me.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
I mean, Hunter Henry was like so wide open. I could have made that throw.
It was an illegal shift on the defense, right?
Maybe.
Oh, and illegal content on the offense. They're offsetting penalties, so I'll have to replay that down.
Oh.
Next week, if I do appear here, possibly, you never know. My quick take on Kill Bill, the whole bloody affair.
So what is that? Is that an animated movie?
It's Quentin Tarantino bequeathing to us as a gift, if you will, the way he meant Kill Bill to be seen.
Oh.
He meant it as a big, over 4-hour magnum opus.
So it's combining both part 1 and part 2 together?
Mm-hmm. Yep. What's going to be left out, from what I understand, is the intro to volume 2, where the bride's driving, in that car, describing what happened in part 1. That's going to be left out. From what I understand, the fight with the Crazy 88s, which has one of my favorite songs of all time, that's going to be in full color, no longer black and white, because they had that in black and white in order to avoid an NC-17 rating.
Oh, right.
Another bit of anime in there, which is going to be pretty cool. And
I have a funny
the backstory of the anime in that as well.
I have a quick backstory of that anime that I wanted to share with you, Sith. I don't know if I ever did. When I went to Japan one time, I got to go to Production IG Studios, and in doing so, I got to visit the creators of some of my favorite shows. And they said the last American that they had to let in their doors knocked on the door, and it was Quentin Tarantino begging them to animate Kill Bill. And they were like, well, we're working on Ghost in the Shell too. We can't. And he was like, what does it have to cost me to get you to pause that and work on my movie? And they were so impressed that he literally flew out to Japan and knocked on their door that they ended up delaying Ghost in the Shell 2, which Ghost in the Shell series is one of my all-time favorites. It's why I wanted to meet them, and ended up filming that. And then the next American that got to go into that studio was me, with my grandmother, who was like 89 at the time. And it was really cool to be able to meet them and show them a video game I made about Ghost in the Shell. And anyway, so what a cool group of people. And that was like one of my favorite moments of college, was getting to meet that team.
Yeah. My favorite anime of all time is Akira from 1990.
I love that anime. That is one of my all-time favorites too. What a gory, crazy mindfuck. That and Neon Genesis Evangelion. Those are the super trippy Gynex, production IG, that sort of that time period. Some great stuff there.
The first time I saw it, I was 15 at a Star Trek convention. I was like, oh, fuck, this is awesome.
Yeah. I still have that on Blu-ray, actually. So that's
same. I usually go between the 88 version, English dubbed, and sometimes Japanese with the English subtitles. Occasionally dip into the 2001 dub, but it's got nothing on the 88 original.
Right. I agree.
Control must be maintained.
Yes. So good. So good. Anyway, highly recommend those anime if people don't know. But good stuff. Yeah, I hope you are able to come back because I would like to know about the Kill Bill thing. I used to Quentin Tarantino when I was in film school was like one of my favorite directors, and I still have Kill Bill 1 and 2 on Blu-ray as well. And it's a great.
I will say this: the whole bloody affair. Tarantino said recently in an interview. I'll leave you guys with this. He said he has no plans for the foreseeable future to have this cut released on home video. So the only way to see this the way he wants it presented is in theaters. That's where I said, okay, I'm plunking down 1049 here to the Regal over here. I'm seeing it Thursday afternoon.
Yeah, I should maybe do that too. I've got a Regal pass, so I would get to see it included. But Seth, thank you for all the updates, and I love talking anime, Kill Bill, all of it with you. So hope that you have a great week ahead, and maybe I'll see you on the birthday podcast next week, and if not, I'll definitely catch you soon.
Yeah, you guys take it easy. Robbie, Champ, everyone. Adios, muchachos.
All right. With that, Champ, I'm going to let you to bring that the shovel to bury maybe some of the fans that are questioning some things.
I'm just so sick and tired. Here's the thing. We're not the Cleveland Browns. Okay? We're not the Cleveland Browns. We're not the Las Vegas Raiders. We're damn sure not the New York Football Jets. Jets, Jets. No, we're not any of those teams. We are the Washington Commanders. We have had a history, a storied history. So when I hear about draft this and we're not going to get a good draft pick if we keep winning, I don't give a rat's stinking ass about the fucking draft. I'll care about the draft in April when it happens. Until then, as long as there's regular season football going on, all I care about is my team getting the W. That's all I care about. I don't care about a draft. I don't care about draft picks. I don't care. The season's still going on. The draft you can talk about the draft when the season's over. But this defeatist attitude of this fan base is just irritating to me. And I've been a Washington football team fan since I was 8-9 years old. So I've lived through the dark times of this franchise. 20 plus years of mediocrity. But you know what? The one thing I always wanted was for that team to go out there and keep fighting, keep pushing, and try to win. That was always been my mentality. I wasn't the one to sit there and be like, oh, they should lose everything so we can get a better draft pick. Fuck that. I'm not a defeatist. Mm-hmm. And that's the great thing about this football team. And they showed it on Sunday night when they went up against Denver. Denver is one of the hottest teams in the league right now.
Yeah,
one of the hottest. Yeah, they just keep winning. They are such a good team. And Bo Nix, the crazy thing is Bo Nix was somewhat in the conversation for Rookie of the Year, but his ascent to Rookie of the Year started so late that there was no way he was beating JD5 for Rookie of the Year. But he had a late ascent to Rookie of the Year. But because of that late ascent, he's now showing why he should have been in the conversation. That kid is something special. Okay,
I agree, but I also think he has more weapons around him, a more complete team. than the Commanders do. I think, especially in the depth side of it, do I think that some of our starters could be better? Sure. But, I don't know. For me, like, their defense was pretty good, and, they have a lot of weapons on offense. And Denver surprised a lot of people this year, though. I mean, a lot of us had that as an L going into the season. As a win for the Commanders. But
you want to know something funny, Robbie? I looked at the stats from last night's game, and when you look at the stats, Washington should have won this game, and it came down to that 2-point conversion in overtime that was blocked by Benito to win the game. Washington had more total yards, 419 to Denver's 402. Now, passing yards was more on the side of Denver than Washington. They had 315 passing yards to 276. Rush yards, they only rushed for 87 yards. So that's a W right there, because this team over the last couple of years has been notorious for not being able to stop the run. Well, they were able to slow down the run this week, even though they had a rookie back there that did score a touchdown score a couple touchdowns, I believe. But they only held them to 87 rush yards as a team. So that's a good thing. While on the other side, our side, 143 rush yards, though our leading rusher was our quarterback with 55 yards. We had a better third down efficiency, 8 of 17 to 7 for 15. Both teams were perfect on fourth down, though we had 3 fourth down conversions to their 1. We had way more plays, 85 to 69. Nice. I think the one key factor here, and then also we held on. We had the slight edge on time of possession, 35 minutes to 32-13. But somehow, so this just goes to show you that this was a team that did not care that the Denver Broncos were the hottest team coming into this game. They did not give a shit. All they cared about was they wanted to go out and win this game. You got McLaurin back, and McLaurin didn't look like he had any rust on him, missing so many games. He had 7 catches on 14 targets for 96 yards. He caught the touchdown that could have led to either tying the game, they'd have went for the extra point, or winning the game, they'd have converted that 2-point conversion. Zach Ertz had his best game of the season. 10 catches on 13 targets, 106 yards. He was all over the field.
But he missed a couple of plays that I thought could have.
Yes.
Yeah, and some of them were just great defensive plays, breaking it up. And, I don't blame, some of them were mistimed jumps. It wasn't all his fault. But,
right,
man, there was definitely some plays left out there. I just I love going for 2. Liz was watching it live with me. We had just come back from going to a musical, Some Like It Hot, over at the National. Great show, good music. But I watched the second half on the metro ride home and the car ride home, thanks to Hulu TV, and then got home just in time for the final 2 minutes. So I got to watch the last 2 minutes of regulation and overtime. And gutsy performance. She was surprised that they decided to not just kick it. But for me, there's no way they're getting the ball back, right? So
that's why they went for 2. I was getting ready to say they went for 2 because remember they had a chance after Denver had already possessed the ball and scored. If they get the 2-point conversion, the game is over. So that's why they went, because they knew that if they did not go for 2 to try to win it, and they tied it, there was no guarantee they were getting the ball back. It was either Denver was going to go down the field and get a field goal to win it, or the time was going to run out and it was going to be a tie. But they knew, I love DK's thought process here, that the assumption is we're not getting the ball back unless somehow they would have got a turnover, and then there would have been a chance. But the thought process going in there was right. Let's assume we're not getting the ball back, and let's try to win it right here, right now. And that's why I have no problem with that play call.
And it was the right play call. That guy just made an athletic move, It
was a great play call. The running back was wide open in the flat. Benito just made a great play to knock the ball down at the line and the game. That's why I'm not mad about the finish, because it was the right play call. It's just Benito made a great play. Yep, he made a fantastic play.
It's something to tip your cap to them. One thing I would have done just slightly differently, and I like what Dan had called through most of that, is we won the coin toss, right? And I know that the analytics say now to defer so you know how many points you need to get. Their defense was gassed, right? So I almost wonder in that situation, if you go on offense first, drive and score a touchdown, then our defense knows exactly that they have to stop them or force them to try a 2-point conversion and miss it, So, hindsight's 2020, but like I just felt like they were so tired, and that's why we marched down the field after a touchdown was scored against us, just because they were so tired. So I wonder if we could have taken advantage of that. It's chess. It's hard to know. But that's the one tweak I may have done a little bit differently.
No, I agree. I agree with you, Robbie. Like, I think that it would have been smarter to take the ball first, to try to set the standard of what the Denver Broncos need to do in order to win the football game. And Denver's offense was definitely gassed out, having been on the field for 35 minutes of that game. That was one thing you could have taken advantage of, is that situation. But
sometimes I feel like they look at the analytics too much. They previously decide this is what it was going to be if we win or lose, versus looking at where the state of the game was at that moment. So
I still think it was a good decision to defer and to see what you had to do on your end in order to win the football game. Denver goes down the field, scores really quickly, and then okay, we need to go down. We got to score a touchdown.
The other flip argument is that it would have given our defense a little more time to rest. Maybe they don't get eaten up like Swiss cheese. If they have a little bit more time. So, I mean, it's all, we can play what ifs, all night long. But, great effort was what the Commanders did. I understand your statement about not trying to lose or whatever, things like that. I don't want us to try to lose by any, means of it. But, playing in close games, being able to evaluate talent, and maybe still falling into an easier schedule next year wouldn't be the worst thing either. So I'm not devastated with this loss as much as I have been with blowouts or other ones. Sometimes, a loss like this, I feel better about than some of our wins we've gotten this season, where I feel like we got a little bit lucky. So I like the effort.
Can we talk about Treylon Burks? Man, his lone catch in this game, his lone catch was a catch that is going to be replayed all through the offseason into next season. One-handed, and it was the hand that he literally had surgery on his middle finger several weeks ago. He still had looked like a brace on his middle finger, and still managed to get up with a defender draped all over him, catch it, and come down with it for the touchdown. I mean, it was like they even compared it to Odell Beckham's one-handed catch that he did against the Cowboys as such a sensational catch. It was incredible, and I'm really happy for the kid. It sucks that was his lone catch of the game, but my goodness, that's going to be a catch that's going to be replayed for years to come. No, even if he ends up out of the league in like 2 or 3 years' time, that catch is going to be memorialized forever. Because you don't see a catch like that too often, and when you do see it, it never goes away. And I think that right there may have solidified. Like, if we get to see more of him, I think that he's going to be definitely a really solid receiving part of this receiving core with McLaurin, with Samuel, with Zach Ertz, and with Jalen Lane, and then hopefully, if we can finally get Noah Brown back, he's still working his way back from that knee injury. If we can get Noah Brown back, I think that this team can be very, very good down the stretch. Honestly, I really think this team can be very good down the stretch. If they could get Noah Brown back, that's 4 different targets that defenses have to worry about. And I think once you get that, and they can get the running game going, find a primary back and get that going, I think that this team can at least finish this season on a high. They're pretty much out of the playoffs at this point. There's no way they're going to get in the playoffs at 8-9. There's just no way. But I think that they can at least finish with a respectable record, and I think can really put something on film like you mentioned earlier, evaluation type of thing, you know?
It was interesting. Candy Waller and her group down there, a bunch of great reporters over there, were interviewing Dan about that in the last couple of weeks, about like when do you put in some of the younger guys to give them experience for the future versus playing your veterans, now that we're probably, out of it from the playoff, hunt perspective. And he says that it's a really tough decision because, the veterans are better and we're in close games and you want to win, but you also still want to look to the future too. So it's not easy. I did, if you're watching, want to throw up a picture that was incredible shot of this catch that Champ was talking about. And just this picture will live on for a long time for sure. Let's real quickly. I'm going to go through this the pick'em from this week. Let me just.
I suck this week. I swear I suck.
It's okay. I lost my crown this week, so I feel you. I'm now in second place. I gotta give Tommy a shout out. He's in a 99.5th percentile in all of ESPN, Champ, which means out of 1.5 million brackets, he's in like the top 10,000.
That's crazy.
And I'm in the top 1%. I will take that. But that's even crazier than that.
By the way, congratulations to the Patriots. They've now won 10 in a row. They dispatched the Giants, so that kind of helps us out in the standings on the NFC East because the Giants are just worse than us.
Yeah, better or worse, for draft picks. We'll leave that argument alone. But it's it'll make for an interesting matchup in the upcoming weeks for sure. All right, I'm going to go quickly through these games, and then I'll let Champ pick two games to talk about, and then we're going to quickly go through next week's, and then I want to say a little time for the Wizards, who actually won some games, including tonight.
Yes.
We got Lions over Packer. Or sorry, the Packers beat the Lions. I had picked the Lions at home in that one, but the Packers played a really great game. The Chiefs and the Cowboys. I did pick the Cowboys. Almost everyone picked the Chiefs in that one. The Chiefs are at 6-6, and now the Cowboys are at 6-5-1. And then the Ravens. We talked about it last week. I was a little bit worried about this Cincinnati team, and sure enough, they played a hell of a game in Baltimore. Disappointing for our friend Tim, because Baltimore really needed this win. Luckily, Pittsburgh lost this week as well, so they didn't lose too much ground in that race. They got the Eagles and the Bears. The Bears have just continued their dominance this season. They're up to 9-3 now, winning in Philadelphia. We got the Buccaneers beating the Cardinals. The Cardinals played a really close game but fell short. I had picked the Indianapolis Colts. And Tommy picked the Texans. Was the big difference in our picks for this week. The Texans were surging, but I thought the Colts had played better throughout the season, especially at home. But the Texans continued their late season surge and moved to 7-5 now after a really tough start for them with a 2016 victory. We got the Jaguars beating the Titans, to be expected, 25-3 in Tennessee. The Dolphins beat the Saints. We also expected that. That was a relatively close game, low scoring, 21-17 affair. The 49ers did beat the Browns in Cleveland. San Francisco is continuing to roll. They're up to 9 wins now, and that was a 26-8 victory. The Rams lost to the Panthers. This is the big upset of the week in my book. The Panthers are now 7-6, and really fighting for that division, which is pretty crazy. Up here with Tampa Bay, that's 7-5. So pretty wild stuff. We got the Falcons and the Jets. And I will tell you this, Champ. I went back and forth on this one last week. I even had a conversation with ChatGPT this week about this game because I was so torn before it started. I was like, I think the Jets are going to win. All the stats say the Falcons are going to win. Let's walk through it. And it still gave me arguments for why the Falcons were. I was like, I really felt the Jets. And I'm so mad that I didn't go with that gut. I had a gut to swap this one. But the Falcons did end up losing to the Jets. The Seahawks crushed the Vikings 26-0 in Seattle. It'll be interesting to see what sort of Vikings team the Commanders get next week, whether they want revenge at home or if they're just going to lay down and die like this. So we got the Chargers and the Raiders to be expected. Chargers won that one. This one 31-14. The Bills and the Steelers wasn't close. Honestly, Aaron Rodgers looked very bad. Their offense looked bad all around. They only put up 7 points. The Bills put up 26. We've talked about this Broncos-Commanders game. Great game. Broncos did end up winning by 1 point in overtime, but the Commanders have looked good the last 2 games, being able to force overtime 2 games in a row, show that they can keep it close. And then the Patriots, as Champ was just talking about, did hold on to win this game 33-15. A lot of momentum gained on a 94-yard return for a touchdown, and they just kind of never really looked back from there. Champ, any game that you want to talk about before we switch over to this week?
Definitely want to talk about Thanksgiving, Cowboys and Chiefs. Really just tight back and forth game there, but the Cowboys were able to pull it out. It seems like this dynasty that Kansas City has made. This is the year that they're having a down year, even though they're at 500 at 6-6. Mahomes did play a really good game, but I mean, it seems like that dynamic duo receiving core group of Pickens and CeeDee Lamb are just all the difference in the world for that team. And they have a good run. They have a good run offense as well. So this was a really tight game. I think this is one of the more tightly contested games of the week, besides, of course, Green Bay Lions, which happened earlier in the day. But Dallas and Chiefs, one of the better games of Thanksgiving. The other one that I wanted to talk about is Houston. Just where the fuck did Houston just come from, bro? Like, I really thought Indy had this one. They were at home. They've been playing well. Danny Dimes, though it was revealed this past week that Danny Dimes is playing on a fractured fibula, so that definitely affects mobility. And depending on what leg it is, it affects throwing, because if it's your plant leg, it's hard to step into throws. So you could end up with airmail throws and wounded ducks because you can't step into it. If it's your back leg, if it's his back leg because he's a righty, so his right leg, then it can affect a lot of the timing and a lot of the mechanics of your leg, because you're trying to overcompensate to prevent any more damage to that area. And so that's what really was a shocker to me, is that Stroud returning after he was out a couple games with that concussion, and he went out and they played very well. So those 2 games really stood out to me as, games that really were very, very intriguing games to talk about. And same thing with the Jets. While you picked Atlanta, I picked the Jets. I picked the Jets, and they actually proved me right. So thank you, Jets, Jets. So, but yeah,
I'm telling you, I was so torn. I've not been more torn on a game this year. I don't know why I believed in the Jets this week and not before, but I don't know. It's like just kept on getting talked out of it by different people. But so the Cowboys and the Lions get this great thing where they play one Thursday and they get to play the next Thursday. Of course, they show favoritism to the 2 classic Thanksgiving team games. So anyway, I am going to pick the Lions in this one. I'm going to just quickly pick them, and then I'll let Champ talk about a couple of games. Falcons, Seahawks. I'm going to continue the Seahawks. They've been playing really well lately. I got the Cleveland Browns over the Titans. Commanders, Vikings. I'm going to pick us. I mean, if we jinx this, whatever. Who cares at this point? But I just, I honestly feel like we'll beat the Vikings. I just feel like
the Vikings quarterback situation is so muddled. J.J. McCarthy plays like ass. His backup is ass. And Justin Jefferson is just not getting targeted as much as he should for him to be their elite receiver. And same thing with Jordan Addison. I think that if this defense can key in and keep both of those guys off the stat sheet, they can win this game, because their quarterback situation is trash. The only thing they have going for them is Aaron Jones if he's healthy. So that's why I'm picking the Commanders as well, because you don't know what Minnesota team you're going to get, but you do know that whatever Minnesota team you get is going to be mediocre at best.
Yeah, but knowing them, they'll have a bounce back game against us. Anyway, just they're just one of those teams, and we don't tend to do very well against Minnesota. But I still am going to pick us because I think we're due for a victory. I think we've been trending in the right direction. Dolphins Jets, interesting matchup. Jets coming off of a win. I'm still going to pick the Dolphins, who I thought was going to be better this season. Had floundered for a while, but have looked better in the last couple of weeks. We got the Saints and the Buccaneers. I definitely think the Buccaneers are going to get this win. 98% of ESPN people agree so far. Colts Jaguars. This is a great matchup on CBS for a 1 o'clock game. Just both teams have played really well. I think I'm going to pick the Jaguars at home, but like the Colts, I feel like after losing last week, probably might need the win. The Colts and the Jaguars did just win. You know what I mean? So it could go either way. Steelers Ravens 1 o'clock game, CBS. That's the game we're going to get. But what a rivalry game! So much playoff implications around this game. I'm going to pick the Ravens. My dad always tells me to bet against our team. This could be a dangerous thing, but they need this one, and I don't know. But Aaron Rodgers is going to need a bounce back game. What are your thoughts on this one, Champ?
Aaron Rodgers is playing with a broken wrist, and he got jacked up in this last game, and so he's hurting badly. And it also showed in their play. And then on top of that, the post game, it just seems like there's a lot riding on the shoulders of Mike Tomlin. So it seems like Pittsburgh really needs this game, but the play on the field is just not showing. So that's why I'm also going Ravens as well. I think the Ravens got a little bit more hungry for it. Lamar Jackson is healthy as healthy can be. And I think that he's going to be the catalyst for this Ravens team starting to pick it up down the stretch. And it's going to start here with this division rivalry against the Steelers. This is a heated rivalry between these two teams. Like, these two teams literally can't stand each other, and their fan base can't stand each other either. So this is going to be a really, really tough matchup here for both teams.
Yeah, so it's the battle of the top two teams, and Cincinnati is just 2 games behind them, and so they're the next team we're going to talk about. Cincinnati needs this win to stay alive in this race, because one of the teams, unless they tie, is going to win between the Steelers and the Ravens, right? So, they can't fall too much further behind. I still think I'm going to take Buffalo at home, though, for that. Denver Broncos, I can't see them losing to the Raiders, but anything's possible. Bears Packers, another great game. 9-3 Bears and an 8-3-1 Packers. I think I'm gonna take the Packers at home. But the Bears are playing red hot. I mean, this one is another one of those games that I may have to come back to. The Rams against the Cardinals. I think the Rams, after that surprising loss last week, are going to have to come back and get a victory here. We got the Texans and the Chiefs. Another great game. This is going to be the Sunday night game. Texans coming on strong. The Chiefs need a win to maybe make the playoffs. If they lose this one, it's going to be tough. They're going to have to jump over too many teams, Champ. I am going to pick the Chiefs for that one. We got the Eagles and the Chargers in the in next week's live show that we'll be doing for my birthday podcast. This is tough. I'm going to pick the Eagles to jinx them. So there we go. It could go really either way on that one, but the Eagles have been floundering lately, and they kind of feel like they need to get this win. But going to LA and out there and that swing is going to be tough, for sure. A lot of great games, though. Champ, what are some of your thoughts?
That Sunday night game looks so intriguing, given the fact that the Texans are actually on such a roll, the roll that they are on. I actually am picking the Texans to upset the Chiefs because of how good they've been playing so far and getting Stroud back and starting to really roll, while the Chiefs have been just playing so inconsistently the last 3 or 4 weeks. I feel like this is a game right here that the Texans, if they can catch the Chiefs on an off night, I think they can win it to really give themselves a leg up in the AFC South with Indy playing as well as they are. I think they definitely need this victory to keep pace with the Colts in that division and keep them in a position to make the playoffs. That's an intriguing matchup right there, and I can't wait for that. And the same thing with the NFC North matchup of the Bears and the Packers. Bears have been playing absolutely spectacular football recently. Caleb Williams is looking more and more like a number one draft pick than he did last season when he was a rookie. He looks absolutely phenomenal. He's got a lot of weapons in DJ Moore, Rome Odunze. They have been playing well, and Colston Loveland at tight end. Green Bay, Jordan Love hasn't been playing lights out, but he's been playing fairly consistently, though he's had some pretty low games recently. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out. I'm going with Green Bay in Green Bay, but I think that this is going to be one that's going to be really something to pay attention to, because I believe this is the game to determine who's going to lead the NFC North, with Detroit. They're not struggling, but they need to get it together at 7-5, and Minnesota's just nowhere near the caliber of these three teams, so they're not even in the conversation at this point. But it's basically Bears, Packers, and Lions in a sprint to figure out who's going to be the representative of the NFC North in the playoffs.
It's going to be a beautiful day for football, too. It's going to be 65 in December in Green Bay.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so it'll be a sunny game, too. So, I was looking at the weather because, there's been historic, crazy weather, games in this division, and so I was curious. But, yeah, it's going to be unseasonably warm. So I wanted to pull up quickly the standings in the AFC side, because it's so close. You have these three teams, at 8-4 here, between the Chargers, Indianapolis, and Buffalo. But right behind them is Houston, Pittsburgh, and Kansas City, right? So, they all have to kind of keep up here. And, I can't believe that. I thought that there would be some in the AFC North. The division leader would be higher than at 500 right now. So it's been really interesting to see the parity in the league, and also how good the AFC South has been. I think it's been a surprise to a lot of people this year. New England, and Buffalo having two teams out of the East, is surprising a little bit too. The North was a powerhouse in the AFC for a while, and it's interesting to see kind of how it's fallen off a little bit.
The AFC North has been a powerhouse. So is the AFC West, but it's good to see that the East is starting to get back to where it was when Tom Brady was in New England, how New England was just owning the AFC East for over a decade. And Buffalo, when Josh Allen finally came about, and then they started to creep on a come up. So it's amazing to see, but it's also amazing to see, Jacksonville and Houston playing so well and really bringing their A game and stuff like that. The AFC is definitely going to be a war of attrition coming down the stretch these last 5 games, because a lot of these teams are playing so good, such good football, and it's going to come down to I feel like a lot of these division leads and these wild card slots are going to come down to probably the last 2 weeks of the season, because of how good these teams have been playing. The last 2 weeks are going to be crucial when it comes down to playoff seeding and playoff position, whether you make the playoffs, because you can see a lot of teams that are right on the bubble just this early, and anything can happen in the next 5 weeks.
Yeah, I want people to mark down on the calendar a really great game coming up. Talking about what you're saying, Texans versus Colts on Sunday, the 4th of January, could be hugely impactful in the playoff picture.
That could be for the division.
Yeah. So, because. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, where Jacksonville is, in there. I'm looking right now to see who Jacksonville plays in their last game of the season. So they play Tennessee, so that's a lot easier, for them. The they'll have to play Indianapolis the week before. So that'll be on the 28th. That'll be an exciting game between the Jaguars and the Colts. The Jaguars the week before that play Denver. So Denver and then Indy, back-to-back weeks to end December there. So we'll have a lot of interesting stuff to talk about. I'm happy that we have an extra week of football now, and so the last week of the regular season we'll talk about on the first podcast back after the break, and we'll have a little bit more time to set up the NFL playoffs instead of already being in it, like you used to, when you had one less week. A lot of fun and exciting things to talk about for sure next week and the week after, and then obviously in January. So the NFL's been a lot of fun. We're going to switch to the Wizards, which is crazy. We haven't really talked about them. And I'm going to pull up their schedule to show that they actually got some wins this week. So they were able to beat the Hawks in our very first Cup win in 3 years. Had never won an NBA Cup game, and a big-time win on Tuesday. I'll let people know about that one, Champ.
Yeah, I mean, they beat the Hawks 132-113. I believe that McCollum had a career high. I think he had 44 points in this one. I think that's what it was. No, it was Middleton. It was Middleton that has a career high 34 points in this one. Bilal Coulibaly 29 points. Alex Sarr, who was one of our earlier top draft picks, 30 points. I mean, CJ McCollum, 19. You had 5 players in double figures in this one, and 6 when you count Tristan off the bench.
Oh, no, sorry. We're looking at plus minus. You were right. CJ McCollum had 46 points.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I was looking at the wrong one. So, yeah, CJ McCollum had 46 points. Sarr had 27, Middleton 10, and Corey Kispert 19. So, you have 4 players that were in double figures in this game, and it definitely made the difference in terms of being able to win and finally winning an NBA Cup game for the first time since the NBA Cup was established back in 2022, shooting 57% from the field, 50% from three-point land. That's always going to get you some wins when you can shoot at least 50% or better from beyond the arc. So a really good win for the Wizards. Though, again, defensively, they're not the best team. Defensively, again, they gave up 113 points, but they were still able to put up enough on offense to be able to counteract that and get the victory.
I mean, they put up over 100 points before the end of the third quarter. So, credit to them. 45 points in the first quarter, 45-23. I mean, that is the best first quarter that we've had in a very long time. So, I mean, I feel like we're often set ourselves up where we're down 6 to 8 points at the end of the first, which isn't a lot, but it's just it's hard to get yourself back into it. And giving them a cushion like this is, I think, key towards a victory there. So that was the second win of the season. And then we got one tonight against the Bucks. Again, they actually outscored us at the beginning of the game, 34-28, and in the second, 32-30. But coming on strong in the third, held them to only 28. We scored 33, and then we scored 38 points to their 32 and just squeaked by with a 3-point victory. So very close game. There was a time where the Bucks were up 15, Champ, and I thought, I don't know if we're going to come back in this. And sure enough, next thing I knew, I look up and it was a tie game. I was like, what happened? And they were able to, it was a very close fourth quarter back and forth affair. Giannis did have 26 points. Kevin Porter had 30 for them. For the Wizards, Bagley had 22. CJ McCollum had another great monster game, 28 points. Middleton had 15, but just a great, all around. Cam Whitmore off the bench, 17, 16. So it was just a lot of scoring all around I like that it was a team effort and a team win, big time victory by the Wizards.
Yeah, I mean, when you could get that kind of score, not only from your starters, but also from off the bench, you're going to win a lot of games. And again, when you can shoot 50 or more from the field, this time they were like 36% from beyond the arc. So not a good average compared to their win last week against the Hawks, where they were 50%. But when you can score as much as that, you will compete with a lot of these teams. And Milwaukee's one of the better teams in the East when they have, when Giannis is on and things like that. So for them to be able to take down a team of the caliber of the Milwaukee Bucks, who shot almost 55% from the field and 55% from beyond the arc, that's just showing the fight and the will to want to stand tall against a high caliber team like the Bucks, and to be able to walk away with the victory even better. So now they're up to 3 wins on the season.
Yeah. 3. We tripled our wins in a week. So we've got the offensive rebounds. To me, that's a statistic that's super important, because if you look here, they had 14 offensive rebounds to their 7, which gave them more opportunities at the basket. We shot 102 shots, Champ.
14 offensive rebounds, meaning you gave your offense 14 extra chances to score on your offensive end. Yeah. That's a big thing, because those second chances can help you, especially again against a top tier team like the Bucks. When you can get those offensive boards and give your offense a chance to get more scores, that gives you an extra possession, that gives you more ahead of them. So well done to be able to get those offensive boards and to be able to give yourself those extra chances and those extra possessions against them. And then, of course, they turned the ball over 16 times. That's more extra possessions that you're getting when you have more turnovers than them. You have 6 extra possessions because you did turn the ball over 10 times, but they turned over 16. That's 6 extra possessions. So there you go.
Right. And points in the paint. Outscored them 58-34. So that's an important statistic as well. Just banging and just trying to score there. But the largest lead, you can see here, the Bucks had a 16-point lead at one point in this game. The Wizards never led by more than 6. So just gritty, gutsy performance to hold on and stick with it and keep it close to the end and go on a run there in the 4th to get a big win at home in front of the home crowd. So great.
One thing about the points in the paint thing, that's been a statistic that the Wizards have been always so good at over the last 3-4 years that we've been covering this team. That was the one thing I always preached about, was they're really good in the paint. They have such talented big men that can work in the paint, and even some of the smaller guys can get in the paint and score as well. So that's one thing about this team that seems to be the constant with this team, is that they'll tend to lead in points in the paint, and things like that. The other stat that they aren't very consistent in is 3-point shooting. They tend to have a good game of 3-point shooting, and then they'll have a really bad 3-point shooting game. But the points in the paint tend to be very, very consistent. They consistently tend to lead points in the paint in most of their games. They may have maybe a game or two down like here and there where they do get outscored in the paint, but it's not very often. A lot of times they're very good in the paint. So that's one thing. If they continue to do that, I think they can be in a lot of games.
Upcoming schedule, they continue to play tomorrow, so they have a back-to-back. They go up to Philly, play the 76ers, and then the Celtics come to town on Thursday. Both those are 7 o'clock games, and then on Saturday, they continue the homestand against the Hawks, and then they've got like a week off before they continue the homestand against the Cavaliers. So it'll be interesting to see how they do. I know it's a compressed schedule this week, and then they've got 2 games next week. And so if they can win 1 or 2 of these games this upcoming week, we will continue our Wizards coverage. But I thought that we'll stay true to our word. We did have some breaking news from DC United before we came on air. Champ, what is your reaction to losing our best goal scorer?
Stupid bullshit. That's all I gotta say about that. I mean, Christian Benteke was the main bright spot on an otherwise very, very poor DC United team. And then he puts out that statement that basically he's leaving the team. And it's like, well, now you're going to go from really bad to just outright shit. And it's insane. Like, I don't know who you're going to find to replace the type of production that Benteke brought to that team. I mean, he was a golden leg winner a season ago. As the best goal scorer in Major League Soccer. Even though the team didn't make the playoffs, he was still one of the best goal scorers in the league. And now he's about to go to somebody else's team. And you know what's going to end up happening? He's going to end up going to one of the top level championship teams and make them go from a bridesmaid to a bride, and we're going to just sit back and look at them as we're at the bottom of the freaking Eastern Conference table and be like, why did we let him go? Because we're shit. That's why we let him go. This is aggravating. This is irritating. I understand that any professional sport it's a business, and you got to make business decisions. But someone in the front office should have did something to keep that type of production, that type of commitment, that type of talent. That should stay here. But nah, they're just going to let him go. Cool, awesome.
Yeah, he 9 goals and 3 assists. I know it's a far cry from what he had the year before, but still, like, he is so promising, and disappointing that we will lose him. He was our bright spot this season, for sure. Started off the season real hot, if you remember, and we thought that it was going to be another almost repeat of the year before. But I don't really know what DC United is doing.
Yeah, he had a down year this year, definitely, but I still think he's definitely the best option that we had on this team, best player on this team, and now you don't have that now, and it's disappointing. It's very disappointing, and it looks like DC United is going to probably have another bad year. And it just seems like DC Sports, the only positives from DC Sports over the last calendar year are the current Capitals this year with the way they've been playing, and of course DC United, the DC Defenders coming into the spring as the defending UFL champions. Those are the only positives right now, honestly.
Yeah. Real quickly before we let you go and we end the podcast, I do want to give Sith a shout out for doing a great live reaction this week.
Yes.
And what were some of your takeaways? Brief. I know you'll talk about it more on the No Spots podcast from this past Saturday's action.
War Games, Survivor Series War Games was really, really fun. It was a really good event. We kind of felt that Cena was going to lose the Intercontinental Championship because I think that they did not want to have the IC title on the line for Cena's last match. So you kind of felt that Dirty Dom was going to win the championship back. But what was great was the fact that Liv Morgan came back. We were all predicting that Liv was going to be showing up in the Women's Royal Rumble match and get that big pop. But no, she showed up during this match and helped Dirty Dom win back the title. Stephanie Vicaire and Nikki Bella was a decent matchup. Vicaire, I think, carried that matchup and ended up winning the matchup to retain the Women's World Championship. But the War Games matches, which were the signature of the event, actually stood up and delivered. In this one, the women's one was really good, with Team Rhea getting the victory over Team Becky and them. And then the heels ended up winning the main event with a masked figure being, we think, this Austin Theory, helping them to secure the victory. And so it was a really good event. You'll get more of our thoughts on that when we talk about it this coming weekend on No Spots. It's going to be a stream live on Friday because of the fact that this coming Saturday, we have yet another PLE to talk about, and that's going to be NXT Deadline. Deadline is the signature event in December for NXT, which is headlined by the two Iron Survivor Challenge matches, which 6 individuals will enter in time intervals, and it's basically a 25-minute matchup in which whoever walks away with the most falls, whether it be pinfall or submission, gets the victory, and they get a shot at their division's world champion coming up, I believe, at New Year's Evil in January. So a chance to figure out who's going to challenge JC Jane on the women's side, who's going to challenge Ricky Saints on the men's side. Though I think that it's New Year's Evil, the men's the NXT Men's Championship is going to already be defended. I think it's going to happen at Deadline. I got to check and see, but I think it's going to happen at Deadline that Obafemi, who was the last NXT champion before Saints took the title from him, they're going to face off in a rematch coming up, I believe, either at Deadline or at New Year's Evil. It's going to happen at one of those 2 events coming up, but it's going to be a really interesting time in wrestling, not just for WWE, but also for AEW. They just had Full Gear a couple weeks ago, and they're currently in the midst of their version of the G1 Climax, which is the Continental Classic. And they got World's End coming up at the end of December. New Japan is in the midst of the World Tag League. Myself and Sage are actually going to be talking about what happened this week in World Tag League. They had a travel day today, and then they'll be back at it in Yamamashi tomorrow with continuing action. And then myself and Sage will look back on the 5 events that happened this week and look ahead to the rest of the to the week's action and everything like that. And also just really a lot is going on in wrestling. TNA is getting ready for their last premium live event of the year, which is Final Resolution, before their first of the year next year, which is Genesis. So there is a lot that is going on in the world of wrestling. That's why the only time that No Spots takes any kind of breaks is Christmas, because we need a break. We need some time to chill out. So coming up on the 21st of December, that will be our last podcast of 2025. And then we will take a couple of weeks off for the Christmas holiday and be able to just watch, because most of the wrestling will either be pre-taped or will be basically clip shows. So it really is not going to be much to talk about. So we'll be taking those couple weeks off for the Christmas holiday and everything like that. And then we'll be back at it on January the 4th. January the 4th, we'll be trying to get Sage on, because it'll be a special New Japan recap, because on that day will be Wrestle Kingdom 20, which is headlined by Hiroshi Tanahashi's final wrestling match against Kazuchika Okada. And that's going to be a very emotional time. A matter of fact, it's such a big deal that Okada's being Tanahashi's last opponent that for the first time in 5 years, Wrestle Kingdom 20 is completely sold out. They had to open up new seats in other parts of the Tokyo Dome to accommodate people who want to come and witness Tanahashi's final wrestling match in person. They have sold out They have not sold out the Tokyo Dome in five going on 6 years. Not since 2020, before the pandemic, has the Tokyo Dome been sold out. And this is even counting the fact that with the pandemic, they cut down the attendance by half to stop the potential spread of the coronavirus. But even when they took away those restrictions, they have not gone up. They have not seen a sellout of their premier event in such a long time. So for that to happen shows you how historic this event is, especially because of what Tanahashi has done for New Japan, bringing him out the dark age, and now he's getting ready to call it quits on his career so that he could be a full-time president of New Japan, because he's the president of New Japan, but he's also still a wrestler. So I I've read it somewhere, or Sage told me that I think he had to make a choice whether to continue to be the president or continue to wrestle. So I think he made the choice to continue to be the president, and so he's been on this retirement tour all year. And yeah, so a lot's going on in wrestling. So make sure y'all check out No Spots Podcast and keep up with it. If you are either a casual wrestling fan, a new wrestling fan, or a long-time wrestling fan, we got you on your wrestling news, notes, opinions, and talk every week. You can check us out on Twitch and on Kick at True No Spots Pod, or on Facebook for live reactions and special podcasts for facebook.com/No Spots Pod. The audio can be found on Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, I was just curious how big the Tokyo Dome was, compared to like, it's a baseball stadium, but compared to like our stadiums in the U.S., it's larger than any U.S. baseball stadium.
Yes.
The current biggest stadium is Dodger Stadium in L.A. at 56, and this can get up to 65,000. So this is like NFL size stadium right there. So
and here's something you have to think about is that that's not even counting the seats that are down on the field level, okay? Yeah. Because they put a lot of seats down on the field level and whatnot so that you add more. So you're looking at least 75 to 80,000 that could be in the Tokyo Dome this coming January 4th, 2026 for the 20th Wrestle Kingdom. And it's going to be an absolute insane scene. I've always said to myself that one of the items on my bucket list is I want to go to Japan and take in a wrestling show, whether it's New Japan, Pro Wrestling Noah, All Japan, Michinoku Pro, even a women's show like Tokyo Joshi Pro or Stardom or anything like that. I want to go there and take in a professional wrestling show. And eventually I'm going to get there and I'm going to check out a wrestling show sooner rather than later, because I feel like that atmosphere for a wrestling fan is just, it's almost like a Catholic. It's almost like a Catholic going to the Vatican.
Yeah.
In that sense, you know what I'm saying? It's like a Catholic going to the Vatican. It's the holy grail of wrestling, Japanese wrestling and whatnot. So I want to experience that one time.
So I've never gone to a Japanese one in Japan, but I did get to go to a sumo wrestling match when I was in Japan that one time, and that was very cool to witness live. I got to see like 4 or 5 matches, and just it's cool to see the tradition and the stuff around that. I remember as a kid watching some of the great sumo matches in the United States when like Big Show did his one, and so it was cool to get to see some of the greats in Tokyo do their thing, and it'd be cool to see any type of wrestling match though in Japan for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. With that, I think we are going to call it a night. So just the upcoming shows. So that'll be fun. Our first show back on January 5th. You'll have to let me know how that show in the Tokyo Dome ends up. So that'll be part of our coverage to start the winter season 10. We're getting close to the end of the fall of season 10. I think tonight was episode 25 of season 10 already. So next week we're going to have a birthday podcast. I was alluding to it earlier. We'll have friends on to talk hockey, the West Coast Swing. God, I don't know if I'll be able to stay up for them, but I'll definitely watch the highlights. The game starts so late for us. We'll talk a little bit of basketball if they're able to win. Commanders against Minnesota. We'll talk a little wrestling and the fallout of the championship on SmackDown this week, and the lead up, obviously, to the Saturday night main event. So that'll be on the birthday podcast. And then the second half of the birthday podcast will be on the 9th. At 10 in the morning, I'm going to be playing some Pokemon. So if people wanted to come by and wish me a happy birthday on the actual birthday, they can do that, again, 10 to noon on the 9th. And so it was sort of a 2-day celebration for that. And then I may also have a pop-up stream sometime this week. So definitely click the bell and follow us on Twitch, or you can subscribe on YouTube. or follow us, obviously. I only do the sports podcast on our sports page, but you can always follow me, RobbieGross, on Facebook, and I'll often stream the pop-up shows if I end up doing those as well. And then on the 15th, it'll be our last episode, again, as we're talking about, of the fall season. We will recap the main event, Saturday night main event, Cena's last match. We'll also talk a little bit about the Giants game. That'll be the previous day. And we'll take a look at the next couple of weeks in football, hockey, wrestling, and all that, just to sort of preview it. And then we'll take the 22nd and the 29th off for Christmas and New Year's, and then again be back on the 5th. So very exciting stuff coming up. Thank you, Champ. Thank you, Sith, for talking wrestling with us. Thank you to Gil, Anna, and C4 for talking hockey and the perfect week for the Capitals. This has been episode 393. We're on the road to 400. We'll be coming just on the other side in 2026, probably right around or just maybe after the Super Bowl, actually, will be 400, so that'll be kind of fun if all things stay true. So a lot of fun things to still celebrate. We'll celebrate episode 400 in the fall. We'll also celebrate our 10 years of streaming, and then we'll have season 11 start in April as we look to the defending champions of the UFL and the Defenders as well. So a lot of fun things, celebrating 5 years on Twitch and more. So thank you everyone for sticking with us for all of these years. Thank you to all of the guests from tonight. I look forward to spending my birthday week with you guys next week. And we're not going to rate tonight, so I'll just end the stream there. But I hope that you guys all have a great week ahead.